Shocking archaeological discoveries, revealing the terrifying secrets of ancient people in history. Archaeology has long been considered a field of sweat and tears. To uncover valuable heritage, archaeologists not only need extensive knowledge and perseverance, but also must possess an element that many find hard to attain: the smile of the goddess of luck. In fact, many unique archaeological discoveries have been made by sheer accident, through unexpected incidents or unintentional circumstances completely beyond strict scientific calculations. Among these are discoveries made in dark, mysterious places like caves. Yet within these shadowy spaces lie countless stories, relics, and civilizations that have been buried by time. So have you ever wondered what might be hidden in these caves? What might we find after digging through the thick layers of earth and stone? Join us as we explore and uncover the answers in today's video. Mummified bodies in a haunted cave. In 1940, archaeologists Sidney and George Wheeler discovered one of the strangest archaeological finds in history: two mummified bodies found in a haunted cave in Nevada. After their discovery, these mummies raised many questions and doubts about their origin and the time period in which they existed. According to experts, the mummies were wrapped in materials resembling reed mats and buried deep underground. One body was buried more shallowly, while the other was buried much deeper, creating a difference in burial practices. After the discovery, the archaeologists moved the mummies to the Nevada Museum for scientific analysis. Initially, scientists estimated the mummies' age to be around 1,500 to 2,000 years old. However, the truth astonished the research community. In the 1990s, new studies revealed that one of the mummies was male and dated back about 10,600 years. This meant that the individual lived over 10,000 years ago and was around 40 years old when he died. This discovery made the male mummy the oldest ever found in North America, a groundbreaking find in the field of archaeology. Subsequent studies, especially DNA tests, showed that this mummy belonged to Native Americans. After years of research, a team led by Professor S.K. Willerslev, an expert in ecology and evolution at the University of Cambridge, confirmed that the mummy was an ancestor of the Falun Paiute Shoshone tribe, an ancient group in the Nevada region. Thus, the story of the two mummies in the haunted cave sheds light on an untold part of Native American history, along with many mysteries hidden deep within this continent's distant past. Smoke-dried mummies from 1,000 years ago. Few people know that in the dark caves hidden in the remote regions of the Philippines, tombs containing smoke-dried mummies from over 1,000 years ago still exist. These mummies belong to the Ibaloy people, an ancient group who lived in the Philippines around 1,000 years ago. They had a special custom of smoke-drying the bodies of the deceased, and these mummies are known as fire mummies. This smoke-drying embalming practice has not been in use in the country for the last 400 years, but many tombs still preserve the fire mummies in remarkable condition, some even retaining tattoos on the hands and legs of the deceased. According to information from the Daily Mail, as of January 21st, it is estimated that there are up to 80 sacred caves in the Philippines that serve as the resting places for these fire mummies. These caves are primarily located in remote, mountainous regions that are difficult to access. The unique thing is that only the elders in the Ibaloy tribe know the exact locations of these caves, and they are the only ones who know the rare smoke-drying embalming technique. The Ibaloy smoke-drying practice was not merely a method of preserving the dead, but also an integral part of their beliefs and culture. They believed that by embalming in this way, the soul of the deceased would find rest and protection in the afterlife. 78,000-year-old ancient child's grave. In Pangaya Saidi, a large cave located in a forest near the coast of Kenya, Africa, archaeologists have reported the discovery of the oldest known grave, approximately 78,000 years old. This is the grave of a child, around 3 years old. According to African reporters, researchers have given the child in the grave the nickname Mtoto, which means child in Swahili. The remains of Mtoto were wrapped in a shroud and placed in a fetal position. Researchers believe this posture suggests a funeral ritual developed by the Homo sapiens hunter-gatherer community living in that area 78,000 years ago. This is the oldest grave known in Africa, where modern humans first appeared. According to Maria Martinon Torres, a researcher at the National Center for Human Evolution in Burgos, Spain, Placing Matoto in a sleeping position and protecting the body with a shroud proves that ancient humans in Africa also lived in a symbolic world, and thus had an awareness that researchers are still trying to understand. Meanwhile, anthropologist Antoine Balzeau from the National Museum of Natural History in Paris, France, noted that finding the well-preserved body of a child like this is extremely rare in Africa, where ancient human fossils are seldom discovered. Therefore, this may be the clearest evidence of the spiritual and religious beliefs of ancient humans, helping us better understand the early civilizations of our ancestors. While it is still unclear whose analysis is the most accurate, these discoveries at least offer us new insights into ancient people and their customs, things that modern humans may never fully understand. The 1,000-year-old carving. In 1998, archaeologists discovered a cave in Alabama temporarily referred to as Cave Number 19. It wasn't until recently that a team of American scientists, using advanced optical technology to scan deep areas of the cave, uncovered ancient treasures hidden deep within the earth. The researchers were astounded to find 1,000-year-old specters, some of the largest and most impressive ancient cave art in the United States. One of the most remarkable pieces was a carving of a rattlesnake with a diamond-shaped back stretching up to 3 meters long, an intricate masterpiece. In addition, there were other carvings depicting human figures wearing regal attire but with features resembling spirits, some over 2 meters in length. These carvings are estimated to be about 1,000 years old, an astonishing figure given the level of detail and scale of the artwork. The researchers believe that the creators of these pieces were Native Americans, inhabitants of the region centuries before Europeans arrived. These artworks not only demonstrate the incredible artistic skills of Native Americans, but also reflect the unique civilization they possessed long before contact with other cultures. Cave Number 19 has an underground system over 5 kilometers long, and the carvings were found in a large chamber of this system. The discovery of these artworks is an immensely important archaeological find, offering valuable insights into the history and culture of Native Americans and shedding light on the development of an ancient civilization previously unknown. Mayan traces. The Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, a mystical region, is home to thousands of mysterious caves that once served as refuges for prehistoric people and later became sacred sites for Maya rituals. Among these are deep natural wells, like Las Calaveras, where the remains of over 125 people were found, still a great scientific mystery. These wells are natural sinkholes in limestone caves and not only connect to an underground maze, but also serve as gateways to the underworld. These wells formed when parts of the limestone cave ceilings collapsed, creating water-filled holes or passages leading to underground springs. During the Stone Age, many caves dried up, becoming dwelling and burial sites. However, to the Maya, these deep wells were seen as portals to Xibalba, the place of fear, home to spirits and deities. Because of this, they avoided these wells, viewing them as sacred and dangerous. In 2013, for the first time, these underground caves were filmed in 3D for the documentary The Caves of the Dead, providing scientists with a clearer understanding of the massive underground labyrinths. Exploring these caves is a great challenge, not only due to their remote locations deep in the jungle, but also because of their narrow openings and the pervasive darkness. Some of the wells are over 100 meters deep, where the air becomes suffocating, making exploration extremely dangerous. These mysterious caves contain not only stories about the history and beliefs of the Maya, but also invaluable archaeological treasures, opening up a mysterious underground world full of potential for exploration. Ancestral traces of different human species. The latest survey in the Denisova cave in Russia reveals that the Denisovans, an ancient human species, did not live here alone, but coexisted with both Neanderthals and our own ancestors. For paleontologists, this discovery is a shocking revelation. While there have been caves reused by multiple human species or where two species coexisted and interbred, this is the first time a cave has been found where 3 species lived at the same time. This finding raises the possibility of complex hybrid offspring. Numerous studies worldwide show that many human species of the Homo genus coexisted alongside Homo sapiens, modern humans. However, all these relatives are now extinct. Some have left traces in modern humans' genes through interspecies marriages. The Denisova cave is hidden deep within a cliff in the Anhui River Valley in the Altai Mountains of Russia. Analysis of 728 soil samples from 20 sediment layers at the cave's bottom shows that humans lived here from 300,000 to 130,000 years ago. Another group of Denisovans arrived about 30,000 years later and stayed until they went extinct. Neanderthals inhabited the cave from around 170,000 years ago, while our ancestors, Homo sapiens, arrived 45,000 years ago when the other two species had not yet disappeared. Although scientists have not yet found direct evidence of interspecies marriages, the possibility of complex hybrid individuals is very high, as there is evidence of such cases worldwide. Many modern Northern Europeans carry up to 2% Neanderthal genes, while 40% of Asians still bear traces of the Denisovan tooth. The alien painting. According to local legend, this massive cave is where the god Shiva revealed the secret of immortality. Paintings discovered in the Bastar Chhattisgarh caves, located in central India, have led Indian historians and archaeologists to believe that prehistoric people who lived in these caves painted images of aliens and unidentified flying objects on the cave walls. Some of the paintings depict alien-like figures wearing spacesuits. Other images include flying saucers with antennas and 3 legs, or aliens carrying some type of weapon. These paintings are believed to date back between 10,000 and 30,000 years, a time when space travel did not exist, even in the distant dreams of humanity. Indian archaeologists are particularly amazed that the paintings, created with natural pigments, have not faded over thousands of years. They believe that ancient people may have actually seen aliens in reality, or at the very least in their imaginations. This led them to create these striking images on the rock walls. This is not the first time ancient paintings resembling aliens have been discovered. Another mysterious painting was found at Cayuse Creek, USA. This painting depicts a creature sitting inside a UFO shaped like a flying saucer, similar to those seen in Hollywood science fiction films. The UFO in the painting even emits smoke trails from behind. The mysterious caverns. Hidden deep within the Himalayan mountain range of Nepal, thousands of man-made caves, situated 47 meters above the ground in the ancient Mustang Kingdom, form one of the world's greatest archaeological mysteries. It is estimated that up to 10,000 such unique caves have been discovered in central and northern Nepal. Surprisingly, some of the caves extend deep into the cliff faces of gorges, while others were dug from above, creating tunnels. These thousands of holes in the precarious, steep cliff faces, located nearly 50 meters above the valley floor, give the impression of a gigantic sandcastle. To this day, scientists are still unsure who created these thousands of years old caves or what their purpose was. Most of the caves are empty today, but archaeological excavations have uncovered evidence such as fireplaces, seed storage containers, and sleeping chambers, suggesting that people once lived here. In 2010, some experts also found human skulls, teeth, arms, and legs, as well as burial items like coffins. About 1,000 years ago, these caves became homes for Mustang families due to the warm winters. It was only in the 13th century that people began to migrate to traditional villages in the valley. Due to its relatively remote location, the Sky Caves and the Mustang Kingdom were forgotten until they were rediscovered by explorers in 1981. The Mustang Kingdom is now considered the best preserved example of traditional Tibetan life in the world. Thousands of mysterious Buddha statues. At an elevation of over 150 meters above sea level, inside the Mach mountain cave are more than 7,200 Buddha sculptures and over 1,000 square meters of murals. This is one of the most famous Buddhist monuments in the world. According to ancient records, the Mach mountain cave began to be carved during the late Qin Dynasty around the 3rd century BCE, followed by the carving of Buddha statues on the high cliffs ranging from 30 to 70 meters. Because the Mach mountain has loose rock formations that are difficult to carve, the sculptures here were made from clay, mostly colored clay. Scholars believe that this cave system was formed and created over many different dynasties. Over thousands of years of history, the Mach mountain cave and its Buddha statues have been well preserved, escaping destruction due to their inaccessibility. The thousands of sculptures here vary greatly in size and shape, with some reaching up to 16 meters tall, while others are as small as 10 centimeters. All of them reflect sculptural features from different periods and dynasties, showcasing the development of Chinese clay sculpture over more than 1,000 years. Alongside Longmen, Dunhuang, Datong, and Yungang, the Mach mountain cave now stands as one of the 5 iconic cave systems dedicated to Buddha sculptures, housing scriptures, and preserving images of the Buddha in China. Strange creatures filled with toxic gases. After being completely isolated from the world for 5 million years, what do you think you would find inside a sealed cave? Dinosaur fossils? Mysterious prehistoric creatures? Or evidence of extraterrestrial life? It is truly difficult to know for sure until Dr. Christian Lascu opened the Movile Cave in Romania. Discovered in 1986, the cave was found when workers from Romania were searching for a new location to build a nuclear power plant. Today, the authorities have sealed the cave and require a special permit to enter, as the cave's central area is naturally protected, surrounded by steep cliffs and narrow limestone tunnels. Inside the cave, the air contains only half the normal amount of oxygen, but it is high in carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. This cave is also a dark, deep pit, not illuminated for at least 5.5 million years. Despite this harsh environment, scientists have identified 48 species, including various types of spiders, water scorpions, pseudoscorpions, centipedes, leeches, and millipedes. A total of 33 species are found only in Movile Cave. Most of the creatures in the cave have reduced vision or lack pigment, as sight or bright features are unnecessary in the darkness. They tend to have thin bodies with very long limbs and antennae to help them navigate better. Additionally, the cave ecosystem is the only known example of an ecosystem entirely based on chemosynthesis. While most ecosystems rely on photosynthesis to harness energy, the lack of sunlight in the cave means that bacteria must obtain energy and carbon directly from chemical reactions such as sulfur oxidation or ammonium oxidation. The tiny people of the Hobbit Cave. Long ago, on an island somewhere far away, there was a legend of a tiny human race unknown to science. They lived alongside elephants the size of young horses, hunted dragons that breathed poison, and were said to have an intriguing culture. In recent years, scientists discovered a strange group of people called Homo floresiensis, or the Flores Hobbit people, living on a small island off the coast of Indonesia. These tiny people, with their small stature, dark skin, and curly hair, are believed to be descendants of a group of humans who arrived on the island from Africa more than 10,000 years ago. In 2004, a team of researchers from the University of Cambridge discovered the remains of this group and named them Homo floresiensis. The tiny people of Flores had a rich culture and history with their own beliefs and language. They were famous for their hunting and fishing skills, as well as their unique ability to sing and dance. They were also known for their extreme friendliness and welcoming nature. The strange handprints. Ancient cave art featuring handprints has long been thought to be the work of male hunters. However, a recent study shows that these handprints actually belonged to women of that time. These findings challenge the archaeological theory that ancient artists were men who depicted their hunting feats and images of animals such as wild cattle, reindeer, horses, and mammoths. Archaeologist Dean Snow from Penn State University conducted his research over a decade ago, building upon the work of British biologist John Manning, who argued that the fingers of men and women differ in length. This discovery changes the theory that ancient artists were male, recording their hunting accomplishments and the animals they encountered. The 11 most exciting recent archaeological discoveries that have thrilled scientists. Special ancient weapons from a Roman battle. Recently, hundreds of special Roman-era weapons were unearthed in a city park in southeastern France. These weapons are believed to be remnants of the Battle of Lyon, which took place on February 19, 197 AD. This is considered the largest battle between two Roman armies. The weapons found at the site in Clos de la Visitation Park in Lyon, France, include arrowheads, fragments of weapons and military equipment, and even severed human heads. Among the more than 350 items discovered, archaeologists also found iron helmets, spearheads, swords, and 2 bronze hooks. The area excavated by the research team is believed to be located at a weapons storage depot, an ideal place to search for battle relics. These excavations will help researchers better understand the age of the military camp, as well as their form and function. The Battle of Lyon, also known as the Battle of Lugdunum, took place between the Roman army of Emperor Septimius Severus and the usurper Clodius Albinus. The total number of soldiers on both sides is estimated to have reached 3,000 dozen. The Roman emperor won the battle, beheading Clodius Albinus. However, archaeologists say that excavations will not continue next year as researchers plan to focus their time on studying previous findings and publishing research documents on the ruins. A 4,000-year-old treasure in the tomb of a beauty. Specifically, in 2001, a flood on the Halil River swept through several cemeteries in the region, dating back to the 3rd millennium BCE. The fast-moving waters pushed this beautiful tube, possibly from the tomb of an ancient Middle Eastern beauty, to near the surface, along with many other burial items. While many items were stolen from the naturally unearthed collection, archaeologists were fortunate to find the lipstick tube. After decades of research, it was revealed to be an unparalleled treasure, as the dating process showed the artifact to be nearly 4,000 years old, possibly from around 1936 BCE. For that time period, a cosmetic lipstick tube, which seems ordinary for ladies today, was not only a luxury item but also a major invention. After thousands of years in a deep tomb, the lipstick in the tube has preserved its bright orange-red color, along with a beautiful shimmer. Analyses show that it was a mixture created by grinding hematite, a bright red oxide mineral, and then blending it with other minerals such as manganite and braunite. Fine-ground quartz grains were added to the mixture to create a sparkling effect. There were also traces of plant fibers, which might have been added to produce a fragrance. An interesting coincidence is that the orange-red shimmer is also one of the popular colors trending recently. The lipstick tube is made from fine chlorite stone and is modeled after tubes made from a type of local marsh reed. While it is not known exactly which ancient tomb this treasure came from, ancient records reveal that it was a personal item of ancient Iranian women. These records also show that they used another type of black powder called sorme to make eyeliner and henna designs, as well as special cosmetics to dye hair and skin. This treasure not only serves as evidence of ancient depictions of Middle Eastern beauties with dark-lined eyes and red lips, but also stands as proof of a civilization to be admired from thousands of years ago. The Bimini Road. In September 1968, while swimming in the waters near Bimini Island in the Bahamas, a Caribbean island nation, Dr. Valentine made a discovery that would shake the history of world archaeology. It was a road made of 50 large rectangular and polygonal stone blocks lying about 98 feet deep underwater. Many of the stones are up to 16 feet long and are perfectly arranged. Scientists determined that the Bimini Road is a man-made structure, dating back around 1,000 years. Since its discovery, there have been many differing opinions about the origin and purpose of this ancient site. According to published theories, the Bimini stone structures could be a road, or the remains of a structure with a different function, such as a sacrificial altar, temple, or astronomical observatory. One study suggests that these underwater stones bear a mysterious resemblance to the stones at Sacsayhuaman, the magnificent ancient site in Peru. Some even suggest that the Bimini site is one of the remnants of the legendary city of Atlantis. Today, the Bimini Road, lying on the seabed, is a popular spot for divers. And of course, archaeologists and scientists are also excited about Dr. Valentine's discovery. They hope that future observations will lead to clues that help unravel the historical mystery. The Beast in the Ancient Maya Tomb. A new study published in the journal PLOS One has described an ancient mysterious tomb estimated to be from 435 AD, belonging to a Maya woman. The remains, which only consist of bones, were identified as those of a very young woman, buried in a sitting position with her legs crossed and surrounded by several animals, including beasts. 4 animal skeletons found in the tomb include 2 deer, a crocodile, and a jaguar. Of these, the jaguar was positioned closest to the deceased, while the other skeletons were simply placed beside her. Surprisingly, Archaeologist Nawa Sugiyama from George Mason University confirmed solid evidence indicating that the jaguar was a domesticated creature. The most definitive evidence suggests that this was a pet, as the remains showed a high concentration of C4, a carbon molecule common in agricultural plants, especially maize. This beast was raised by humans and fed crops they cultivated rather than hunting wild prey. The fact that this unique and fearsome pet was buried with its owner as part of a sacrificial tradition in Maya culture is not unexpected, as this is not the first time archaeologists have found large feline remains scattered throughout the Mesoamerican region, a historic area in North America that spans multiple countries and was home to many ancient, flourishing civilizations. Research has shown that jaguars, leopards, deer, birds, and other animals were raised by the Maya as pets and traded throughout the region. Some were even bred for their skins and fur. Additionally, some skeletons show a high concentration of C3, a carbon molecule common in wild plants, indicating these animals were victims of hunters. The mysterious underwater caves. On January 10, 2018, the Gran Acuífero Maya, an underwater exploration team, discovered two large underwater caves in Tulum, Mexico. What's unique about these caves is that they are interconnected, forming the largest underwater cave system in the world. This search had been ongoing for a decade and was far from an easy task. Cenotes are natural sinkholes that the Maya named in the Riviera Maya region. These holes are formed by the collapse of underground caves, exposing the groundwater below. 14 years ago, German explorer Robert Schmittner and the Gran Acuífero Maya team began their search, hoping to uncover a hidden underwater place. They visited a small town in Tulum and purchased maps of Sac Actun and Dos Ojos. When looking at the maps, they discovered that one cave contained another cave inside it, but the explorers couldn't find the connection between the two locations. Despite advanced mapping technology, the maze of tunnels inside was extremely complex, and the winding stone walls greatly hindered their search. That's why the Gran Acuífero Maya team decided to dive in and explore themselves. Oxbel Ha, located south of Tulum, is known as the largest underwater cave, measuring about 167 miles in length. The second largest is Sac Actun, measuring 164 miles, followed by Kuk Bal, which is about 58 miles long. During their exploration, the Gran Acuífero Maya team found Maya ruins, including human bones, staircases, rock paintings, stone walls, and many ceramics. Needless to say, they were thrilled, as these artifacts gave archaeologists a chance to delve deeper into this ancient civilization. Additionally, they discovered that this cave was inhabited by ancient people as far back as 30,000 to 4,000 years ago. The remaining items, such as bones from deer, bears, elephants, and giant sloths, along with many other traces, are believed to belong to the first people who lived on this peninsula. It is believed that these findings are connected to many other caves in the area, so they will continue their search for other tunnels beneath the sea. A unique treasure, deep inside a mysterious black hole. In Baoding City, Hebei Province, China, there is a mountain that rises less than 1,000 feet above sea level. At the foot of the mountain lies a small village named Lang. Some believe that most locations with the name Lang are associated with ancient tombs, and Lang Village is no exception. This village has had generations of people guarding tombs, but after so long the villagers no longer know where the tombs are located or who the owners are. In 1968, while constructing an underground shelter here, a group of workers began blasting rocks on the mountain. However, the explosion was unusual, as it produced a high-pitched sound similar to a drum. Even more surprising was that after the explosion, except for a small amount of scattered gravel, the large stones had disappeared. When the dust cleared, the workers carefully examined the area and discovered a large black hole on the mountain. It turned out that all the large stones had fallen into this hole. Realizing that this strange hole might conceal an ancient tomb, the workers immediately reported it to their superiors and the relevant authorities. Soon after, archaeologists, historians, and even biologists gathered at Lang Village to begin a large-scale excavation. After 3 months of digging, the archaeologists determined that the tomb was from the Han Dynasty, dating back more than 2,000 years. The tomb was grand and on a scale befitting an emperor. The tomb's owner was King Liu Sheng of Zhongshan, who ruled from 113 BC. He was the first vassal king of the Zhongshan state, a vassal of the Han Dynasty. King Liu Sheng is also famous for being an ancestor of Liu Bei, the founding emperor of the Shu Han state during the Three Kingdoms period. Liu Sheng was the ninth son of Emperor Liu Qi of the Han Dynasty. In 154 BC, Emperor Liu Qi made Liu Sheng the king of Zhongshan, ruling over the Zhongshan state. Archaeologists found over 1,000 cultural relics, including tons of ancient coins. Among these, more than 4,000 exquisite artifacts were crafted from gold, silver, bronze, and jade. However, there were 3 unique treasures that excited experts beyond measure. These treasures even shocked the world due to their value and the fact that they are nearly impossible to replicate. These treasures include jade armor of Kim Lu. This highly valuable armor symbolizes the high status of the deceased during the Han Dynasty. According to historical records, over 2,000 years ago, Han emperors believed jade could prevent the body from decaying after death. As a result, jade became an important symbol of nobility and was commonly used as a burial item in lavish tombs. The jade armor of Kim Lu is primarily made from gold and jade. In fact, these armors were tailored according to the wearer's rank, using materials such as gold, silver, and copper. The process to make these jade and gold armors was complex, costly, and time-consuming. This is truly a treasure that is nearly impossible to replicate or counterfeit. These 3 treasures have now been recognized as national treasures and are displayed at the Hubei Provincial Museum in China. If you have the chance to visit, don't miss the chance to see these mysterious treasures. The Underwater City, beneath the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle has been famous for centuries for its mysterious disappearances. Many scientific explanations have been proposed to explain the terrifying phenomena that have haunted humanity for so long. While the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle remain unresolved, in October 2012, a group of explorers made a shocking discovery beneath the deep waters. The world was stunned when they announced the discovery of an underwater city beneath the Bermuda Triangle. At a depth of nearly 650 feet, the explorers found an ancient city that dates back approximately 1,000 years. Not only that, but in the central region of the Bermuda Triangle, they discovered 4 massive pyramids along with several statues of sphinxes, which were thought to only exist in Egypt. Upon further measurement and analysis, scientists found that the size of these 4 pyramids was much larger than the Great Pyramids of Giza and Cheops in Egypt. While the origins and construction techniques of the pyramids on land remain a challenge for scientists, the discovery of 4 enormous pyramids beneath the Bermuda Triangle has left them even more puzzled. To this day, the mysteries surrounding the underwater city and the giant pyramids remain unsolved. The mysterious handprint beneath a 1,000-year-old ditch. Specifically, during a survey prior to the implementation of an infrastructure project, they unearthed a ditch running beneath a busy street. The ditch was likely dug by the Muslims around the 10th century to help protect the city. The ditch, carved from stone, is at least 33 feet wide and between 6.5 to 23 feet deep. Its function was to prevent enemies from approaching the walls of Jerusalem and infiltrating the city. However, archaeologists are still unclear about the purpose of the handprint carved into the wall. Ditches were often filled with water, like those surrounding castles in Europe, but the newly uncovered ditch was left dry, with the hope that its massive size would serve as an extremely difficult obstacle for invaders. According to historians of that time, the large ditch helped block invading forces, such as the Crusaders, who laid siege to the city during the Siege of Jerusalem in 1099. However, the Crusaders eventually succeeded in penetrating the city. The handprint is the most intriguing aspect discovered by the team of experts, but they are unsure what it symbolizes. The handprint could have been carved by a Muslim or Jewish defender of the city, or it may have belonged to the European soldiers who invaded. It is also possible that this meticulously carved handprint has no symbolic meaning at all and was just a prank. The research team stated that the true meaning of the mysterious handprint may be revealed after further study of the completed dry ditch, but as of now, they have not published any results, and the handprint remains an unsolved mystery for archaeologists in general. 1,300-year-old gold and garnet necklace. At an archaeological site in central England, archaeologists discovered a 1,300-year-old necklace made of gold, garnet, and various other semi-precious stones. The necklace and many other valuable artifacts are referred to as the Harpole treasure, found in the local parish of Harpole, Northamptonshire. The discovery sheds light on the important roles of some women during the Anglo-Saxon period. The necklace was buried with a high-status woman who died sometime between 630 and 670. In addition to the necklace, archaeologists also found a relatively large silver cross, 2 decorated ceramic jars, and a shallow bronze dish. This jewelry indicates that the woman was very powerful and revered, possibly a leader, princess, or even an abbess. The necklace consists of 30 beads and faces made of gold, garnet, glass, and semi-precious stones, strung together alongside Roman coins. X-ray results of the soil from the tomb revealed an intricately decorated silver cross featuring a human face. Organic material in the grave contained fragments of fur and leather. The 2 ceramic jars may have originated from areas that are now France or Belgium. The skeleton in the grave had fully decomposed, except for small fragments of tooth enamel. However, the necklace and other artifacts convinced the archaeologists that the tomb's occupant was indeed a woman, and the presence of such rare and valuable items suggests that she must have held a very high social rank to be buried with such treasures. The 2,700-year-old clay seal. Archaeologists in Israel have discovered a clay seal imprinted with Hebrew images and characters, believed to have belonged to the mayor of ancient Jerusalem, dating back 2,700 years. This seal was found near the western wall of the ancient city in Jerusalem and is dated to the 7th century BCE. The seal is engraved with an image of 2 men wearing skirts, facing each other as if looking into a mirror. Below this image is an inscription in ancient Hebrew, which translates to "sent by the mayor of the city." Archaeologist Shlomit Wexler Bedola from the Israel Antiquities Authority emphasized the significance of this discovery, as until now, the mayor of ancient Jerusalem was only known from the Bible. This is the first time Israeli archaeologists have uncovered such an artifact from the 7th century BCE in this archaeological site. Although the artifact does not mention the name of the mayor or the name of the ancient city of Jerusalem, archaeologists believe the seal is related to the ancient city. Therefore, researchers hope that studying this mysterious seal further in the future may provide additional clues. The 2,200-year-old unmatched treasure. A recent excavation at the Chaoyang archaeological site in Changsha City, Hunan Province, China, has revealed a series of treasures spanning from the Qin Dynasty to the Qing Dynasty. The series of discoveries began with over 200 bamboo slips from the Qin Dynasty, 221–206 BCE, and the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE–220 CE, which were found in an ancient well. The writing on these bamboo slips is seal script, which was commonly used throughout the latter half of the first millennium BCE and continued to be used for inscriptions, decorations, and seal carvings during the Han Dynasty. Subsequent analyses highlighted the immense value of these artifacts. They are part of a government archive from ancient times. In addition, excavations led by the Institute of Archaeology at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences also uncovered traces of a building with a kiln-fired brick foundation dating back to the Western Han period, the early phase of the Han Dynasty. The building, measuring 92 by 59 feet, was constructed using various prominent bricks from the Western Han era. It is believed to have belonged to a high-ranking individual, such as an official or noble in the region. Next, a second ancient well from the Song Dynasty, 960 to 1279, and the Yuan Dynasty, 1271 to 1388, was revealed. Inside this well from the Song-Yuan period, archaeologists found many other valuable artifacts, including ceramics, copper, and bronze items. This treasure-filled site also provided archaeologists with a stash of stone ammunition, which was fired into the area by the Yuan army during the Southern Song period. Furthermore, an important type of artifact that spans from the Warring States period to the Ming and Qing dynasties further enriched the timeline of this special archaeological site. As you can see, these recent archaeological discoveries not only raise new questions about the past, but also challenge the long-standing knowledge we have trusted. Each discovery is a major step forward in understanding ancient civilizations and the journey of human development. With the advancement of technology and new research methods, the future is sure to bring even more surprises our way. Scientists continue to have high hopes for the deep secrets hidden beneath the earth, and we may soon have more answers. What do you think? What are your thoughts on today's fascinating discoveries? Feel free to leave your comments below, and don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other discoveries. Now, goodbye, and see you next time. A mummy tied with rope. Just discovered in Peru will surely bring tears to your eyes. Hello friends. In 2021, researchers from the National University of San Marcos, Peru, conducted excavations at the Cajamarquilla archaeological site, located about 15 miles from Lima. They discovered a well-preserved mummy buried underground, right in the town square. However, what surprised them even more was that this mummy was not like most others, which are typically found lying flat, but instead was bound with ropes and had its hands covering its face. Initial hypotheses suggest that this could be part of the funeral customs of the people from southern Peru during the pre-Columbian era. The mummy is estimated to be at least 800 years old, which means it predates the Inca civilization, a major civilization in Peru's history, famous for the ancient city of Machu Picchu in the 15th century. The archaeological team is said to have found the mummy inside an underground structure on the outskirts of Lima. In the tomb, they also discovered ritual offerings, including pottery, plant remnants, and stone tools. According to Peter van Dalen Luna, one of the archaeologists involved in the excavation, this discovery not only clarifies social relationships but also reflects the interactions between communities during the pre-Columbian period. He further explained that the mummy is likely that of a young person aged 25 to 30 who lived in the mountains and later moved to Cajamarquilla, a bustling trade center during the pre-Columbian era. However, this is still a preliminary hypothesis, and carbon dating would likely provide a more accurate dating of the mummy. Another striking aspect of the discovery is that the archaeologists also found the remains of some marine mollusks outside the tomb. This is highly unusual because Cajamarquilla is located 15 miles from the coast, and it is clear that marine mollusks couldn't have traveled such a great distance. According to Van Dalen Luna, this discovery suggests that after the mummy was placed in the tomb, honoring activities and offerings continued for many years, with descendants of the deceased returning to present gifts and food, such as marine mollusks and camelid meat, a common food during that period. Because of these unique characteristics, archaeologists believe this individual was not just an ordinary person, but likely an important figure in society, possibly a wealthy merchant or someone of high status. And of course, the fact that the mummy was found with such distinctive markers in the middle of the town square only strengthens this theory. The research team is currently conducting further analysis, including radiocarbon dating, to narrow down the exact period during which this person lived and to uncover more details about their identity. Although the official results have not yet been released, I believe this discovery will undoubtedly mark an important step in understanding the history and culture of the pre-Inca people and will open up many possibilities for further research into ancient customs, beliefs, and the interactions between ancient communities in Peru. The 900-year-old skeleton, still smiling. Scientists at Henan University in China recently made a discovery that has astonished both researchers and the public. The excavation team in this province announced the finding of a strange burial pit containing hundreds of skeletons, including one particularly noteworthy skeleton. This skeleton, dating back over 3,000 years, was not only missing its head, but also positioned in a strange pose, prompting archaeologists to raise many intriguing questions. What makes this discovery even more mysterious is the possibility that the headless skeleton could belong to a victim of sacrificial rituals during the Shang Dynasty, a powerful dynasty in Chinese history. Previously, archaeologists had discovered 339 skeletons, showing signs of being kneeling with their hands bound at a massive sacrificial pit. Around 13,000 people were believed to have been sacrificed at the ancient Shang capital of Anyang over a period of more than 200 years. All details regarding these sacrificial events have been engraved on animal bones or turtle shells, invaluable artifacts that have helped archaeologists better understand the ancient worship practices of the time. At the same time, On the other side of the world in Peru, another groundbreaking archaeological discovery captured significant attention. A tightly bound body, curled up and smiling, was found strangled by ropes early one morning on the streets of Trujillo. The discovery was made by a garbage collector named Otilio Padilla Miramontes, who, while working, found the body and suspected it might be linked to a murder. He recounted, "It looked like any box people often throw out on the street, but when I opened the lid, I almost froze when I saw the horrifying skull inside." However, after a thorough examination, archaeologists determined that the body was a mummy dating back to 1100 AD. The body had been tightly bound with ropes and placed inside a box. The mummy was excavated by archaeologists in the city of Trujillo, specifically at Chan Chan, the capital of the Chimu Empire. Many speculate that someone may have intentionally stolen the body and removed it from its excavation site. A police spokesperson stated, "They are investigating how this box ended up outside the archaeological site. It's possible that someone tried to steal the body and take it as part of a collection. If this turns out to be true, it would certainly be reprehensible." The mysterious skeleton that glows in the cave. In November 2024, a unique archaeological discovery garnered attention from both researchers and the public when archaeologists found glowing skeletons in the Talgua Cave, deep in the Olancho Valley, Honduras. The existence of this cave had been known by locals for generations, but it wasn't until 1994 that the area containing the glowing remains was accidentally discovered. At that time, a group consisting of 2 Hondurans and 2 Americans was exploring the cave and accidentally discovered a hidden passageway up high. One of them went back to fetch a ladder to reach the area, and after taking a few photos, they reported the discovery to George Hazeman, the director of the Anthropology and History Institute of Honduras. Since then, archaeologists have conducted thorough surveys and uncovered a vast space that was once inhabited by an ancient civilization prior to Columbus. What is particularly intriguing about the skeletons discovered here is not only their mysterious appearance, but also the strange phenomenon of them glowing in the dark. Scientists have explained that this phenomenon occurs because the remains are coated with a layer of calcium crystals built up over centuries. These crystals, when exposed to light, reflect and create a soft glowing effect, making the ancient skeletons appear to glow. However, the truth behind these glowing skeletons is not just intriguing due to the mysterious phenomenon, but also because of the unanswered questions surrounding the civilization that once lived there. Archaeologists have ruled out the possibility that these people were Maya, as the artifacts found in the cave, such as pottery and ancient jars, have no similarities to Maya culture, a civilization that once thrived in this region. So, who were the people who used this cave, and why did they choose this place to bury their dead? This question remains unanswered, but experts have stated they will continue to research further to uncover the secrets of this mysterious civilization and how these remains ended up in the cave. This discovery could be a sign that there is much yet to be discovered about the history of Central America and the many mysteries hidden beneath the earth about pre-Columbian civilizations. The mysterious tribe in the Bible. One of the greatest mysteries of the Bible may soon be revealed, as archaeologists discovered a Philistine burial ground in 1985 containing around 200 skeletons dating back 3,000 years. This discovery not only opens the door to understanding an ancient civilization, but also helps clarify historical misconceptions about the Philistines, a group often vilified and associated with hostility in biblical stories. Architect Lawrence Steger, who led the excavation team, stated, "The Philistines have suffered much bad press throughout history, and this discovery will help put an end to many negative myths about them." Indeed, in the biblical narratives, the Philistines are consistently portrayed as the arch-enemies of the Israelites, with the most famous story being that of Samson and Delilah. However, with the first discovery of Philistine skeletons, scientists can now directly engage with their past through physical artifacts, offering us a chance to reconsider our understanding of this group. After 30 years of research and excavation, the search has finally been validated. The discovery of these skeletons will not only help answer many questions about the origins of the Philistines, but will also provide a key to precisely determine where they came from. Scientists continue to debate whether they originated from Greece, Cyprus, or Turkey. These skeletons could be a crucial piece in solving this debate. Additionally, The excavation has shed light on various fascinating burial customs of the Philistines. The findings reveal that the Philistines buried their dead with a bottle of perfume placed near the face and food or wine at their feet, indicating unique religious rituals. Some of the bodies were adorned with jewelry such as necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and anklets, and some even had weapons with them. This opens a new perspective on their cultural and spiritual life. Furthermore, boxes containing the remains of infants were also discovered, suggesting that the Philistines had complex burial rituals for all generations in their community. These discoveries have been displayed at the museum and are sure to attract the attention of both archaeologists and those interested in biblical history. Have you ever wondered if these mysteries could change the way we understand the Philistines and the stories told in the Bible? Could the truth about them be completely different from what we've always heard? Share your thoughts about these discoveries and the untold stories from the past in the comments below. The oldest nuclear family skeletons in the world. Archaeologists have made yet another shocking discovery, announcing the finding of the world's oldest nuclear family tomb, dating back over 4,000 years. In this tomb, the remains of a father, mother, and 2 young sons were found, all positioned face to face, a meaningful scene that has endured for millennia. These skeletons are not only relics of a family, but also provide deep insight into the formation and development of European civilization. According to research, archaeologists believe that this family may have been killed by a hostile tribe, with DNA analysis of the 4 skeletons providing evidence of this. In the image, you can see the 2 children lying next to their parents, facing one another. The 2 boys were around 4 and 8 years old. This is the first time scientists have been able to prove that a family was buried together, shedding light on a part of prehistoric society where family values were recognized and cherished long before wonders like Stonehenge were constructed. Dr. Alistair Pike, head of the archaeology department at the University of Bristol, shared, "This is the first time we have been able to prove that members of a family were buried together. This is significant because in previous discoveries, tombs often contained hundreds of skeletons, but there was no clear familial connection like this." In addition to this family, the excavation area contained many other tombs, indicating that this was a cemetery with similarly shaped graves. Many of the tombs in the area also contained the remains of children, ranging from newborns to 10 years old. One interesting detail is that these graves were arranged in a special manner, with the bodies lying face to face, their hands intertwined, creating an emotional space as if families were gathered together. However, not all the skeletons in this area were peaceful. Some showed clear signs of injury, suggesting that they could have been victims of violent raids, possibly carried out by warriors from a hostile village. This not only proves the brutal nature of warfare during that period, but also highlights the fragility of human life in ancient societies. The skeleton of a Bronze Age beauty. In 1997, during a stone quarry operation at Upper Largie Quarry in Scotland, workers accidentally uncovered a skeleton that had been hidden for over 4,000 years. This skeleton belonged to a woman from the Bronze Age, and she had been buried in a stone-lined grave, sitting in a squatting position. This discovery drew attention not only because of its rarity, but also because of the intriguing stories behind it. For convenience in research, experts named her the Upper Largie Woman, after the quarry where the remains were found. Initial analysis revealed that the woman died at a very young age, just in her early 20s. Examination of her bones and teeth indicated that she had likely suffered from diseases or malnutrition before her death. Additionally, carbon dating of the remains revealed that she lived between 1500 BCE and 2200 BCE during the early part of the Bronze Age. Particularly interesting was the analysis of strontium and oxygen isotopes, which showed that she had grown up in what is now Scotland, clarifying the origins of the Upper Largie Woman. This suggests she was part of the local community at the time, in a society that was undergoing significant changes. Beyond the details of her life and death, the discovery of the culture to which the Upper Largie Woman belonged is equally fascinating. Archaeologists found several beaker pottery shards in the grave, leading them to believe she was part of the beaker culture, an important Bronze Age civilization. This culture originated in Central Europe and spread to Britain around 2400 BCE, bringing with it distinct values, techniques, and customs. To help us better imagine the appearance of the Upper Largie Woman, scientists enlisted the help of Oskar Nilsson, a forensic artist from Sweden. After analyzing facial data from her skeletal structure, Nilsson reconstructed her portrait. The result revealed that the woman had slightly wide-set eyes, a broad and slightly upturned nose, a rounded forehead, and a wide mouth. A vivid image of a Bronze Age woman, bringing her story to the modern world. This discovery not only helps us understand more about the life and death of an ancient woman, but also reflects the values of Bronze Age communities, how they lived, buried their dead, and possibly how they coped with life's hardships. Fascinating, isn't it? Skeletons holding each other for 6,000 years. In the Alepa cave, located in the Peloponnese region of Greece, archaeologists discovered the well-preserved remains of an ancient couple, embracing each other as if they were defying time together. The remarkable part of this discovery is that the skeletons date back nearly 6,000 years, from the Neolithic period, when ancient civilizations began to form. Upon research, experts determined that these remains belonged to a male and female couple who passed away at a young age, around 20 to 25 years old, as their bones were still strong and intact. Georgos Papathanassopoulos, one of the archaeologists involved in the excavation, shared, "I've been part of many excavations, but this is an incredibly rare and special case. It could be said that these are the most beautiful ancient skeletons ever discovered in Greece." The Alepa cave, discovered in 1958, was once inhabited and used as a burial site by ancient Greeks. The cave is dated to have been in use between 3,200 and 6,000 years ago. A massive earthquake buried hundreds of people from the area, creating a tragic scene but simultaneously preserving invaluable remnants of the lives of our ancestors. In addition to the skeletons, archaeologists also discovered tools, pottery, silver, copper, and other artifacts, shedding light on the culture of ancient Greeks. Although the exact cause of death for this couple remains a mystery, scientists are certain that their burial together in such an intimate embrace indicates that they died around the same time. This scene sends a powerful message about love and bonding, even in the face of death. What do you think about this strange and touching situation? Could their death have been a tragic accident, or is there a love story behind it? It's hard to say, isn't it? But if you know anything, don't hesitate to share, and we can discuss it together. The remains of a 5-year-old bride in an ancient Chinese tomb. In the ancient Chinese book Mozi, it is recorded that different social classes had varying requirements for the number of sacrificial offerings. The nobility, for example, often demanded that living people be buried with them upon their death. After the death of an emperor, several concubines and attendants might be buried alongside him, sometimes numbering in the hundreds. Additionally, there was another unique burial custom in ancient China. If a person died young and had not yet married, their family would find a woman of the same age to marry them in the afterlife. A case in point occurred in 2003 when archaeologists carried out an excavation at the former residence of Wang Xiji, a famous calligrapher from the Eastern Jin Dynasty in Linyi, Shandong Province, China. There, they unexpectedly discovered a large ancient tomb. At the entrance of the tomb, traces of red pigment were found. According to the book The Royal Readers of China, the red coating made from iron ore was a characteristic found in royal tombs. Based on this, the experts speculated that the person buried in the tomb could have been from a noble class. Inside the tomb, they found the remains of 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. Among them, the remains of a 5-year-old bride were especially heart-wrenching for the experts. Based on inscriptions and artifacts discovered in the tomb, the experts determined that this was the final resting place of Langya Prince Sima Huan, who lived during the Eastern Jin Dynasty more than 1,700 years ago. Sima Huan was the 5th son of Emperor Sima Yue, the first emperor of the Eastern Jin Dynasty in ancient China. At the age of 2, Sima Huan fell ill and passed away. The second boy buried with him was the 1-year-old grandson of Emperor Sima Yue. Meanwhile, the girl, dressed in a red bridal outfit, was identified as having died at the age of 5. However, researchers have yet to decipher the identity of this girl or her connection to the 2 male skeletons. One hypothesis suggests that this young girl could have been the ghost bride, chosen by Emperor Sima Yue to be the wife of his son who died prematurely. In ancient times, a Minghun, or ghost marriage, was a ritual where 2 deceased individuals, or 1 deceased and 1 living, were married. If an unmarried young person died, the family would arrange a ghost marriage for them, in hopes of providing peace and happiness in the afterlife, ensuring that they would not disturb the living. Based on this concept, The young girl's remains may have been buried with Sima Huan. However, this remains only a hypothesis. To this day, scientists continue to search for answers regarding the mysterious identity of this child's remains. The blood curse on an ancient tomb in Israel. In 2023, archaeologists made a chilling discovery in Beit She'arim, Israel, in a small cave at an ancient cemetery. This small cave, which was part of a larger cave system discovered in 2022, held an ancient tomb that had not been unearthed for 65 years. The tomb was the first one found in this UNESCO World Heritage Site in over 6 decades. On the tomb, there was a red inscription that appeared blood-like, with a terrifying warning. According to experts, the inscription resembled a curse, forbidding anyone from opening the tomb. The inscription read, "Yaakov Hagar curses anyone who opens this tomb, and thus no one will open it. 60 years. The number, written in a different script, is believed to have been added by someone else, possibly referring to the age of the deceased. To reassure the archaeologists, it was discovered that the writing was not done in blood, but in bright red ink. This curse is one of only 2 inscriptions discovered in Beit She'arim in the past 65 years and is the only one that mentions a convert. The inscription revealed that Yaakov Hagar, who likely was the tomb's occupant, had fully converted to Judaism, as indicated by the term proselyte written on the tombstone, a Greek word used at the time. During this period, there were different types of Jews, including those who were God-fearers and may not have adhered strictly to all the commandments of Judaism. Beit She'arim is an international cemetery, meaning Jews from all over the East were brought there for burial. Another unusual aspect of this discovery is that no one knows where the body of the tomb's owner is, as the curse was inscribed on a stone slab placed on the wall of a newly discovered cave. Archaeologists are uncertain where the actual burial site is, as grave robbers may have been digging in the area. This makes it unlikely that the original burial site will be found. It's unfortunate for the tomb robbers, though, if the curse truly proves to be effective. A strange mummy accidentally discovered on a glacier peak that made scientists scream in fear. Imagine, one day you are climbing Pico de Orizaba, the highest peak in Mexico, standing at an elevation of about 18,406 feet above sea level. A mountain that is both stunningly beautiful and incredibly challenging. What would you think of? Fatigue, or perhaps a picturesque scene? Pico de Orizaba, also known as Orizaba Peak, is located about a 5-hour drive from Mexico City. Recently, researchers discovered a mummy in excellent condition on a glacier at the summit of the mountain. The most unusual thing about it is that the victim was not wearing specialized mountaineering gear, but instead ordinary clothes, like the kind we wear every day. This immediately raised a question. Could this person have actually been climbing the mountain, or was there something else behind their death? The mummy was found about 1,000 feet from the peak, and what is remarkable is that despite being exposed to the harsh conditions of the ice-covered mountain for so long, the mummy has been remarkably well preserved. As soon as the news was released, a wave of speculation began in both the scientific community and the public. At first, many people connected this body to 3 explorers who went missing over 55 years ago while attempting to summit Pico de Orizaba. 2 of these explorers had been found earlier, so perhaps this was the final person in that story. But is that accurate? The theory started to be challenged. The location of the new mummy discovery and the 2 previous mummies were entirely different, and more importantly, the clothing worn by this individual was not similar to that of the mountaineering explorers. This led scientists to ask, if this was not one of the missing explorers, then who was this person? After considering the factors, another theory was proposed, one that seemed more plausible. It is likely that this person was a victim of a plane crash that occurred in 1990 right on Pico de Orizaba. If this theory is correct, the story of this mummy would become even more mysterious and full of surprises. However, we still cannot say for sure. So, what do you think? Could this mummy be a victim of the plane crash, or is it part of another mysterious story that we don't yet fully understand? As for me, no matter what the truth about this mummy is, it remains a discovery that gives me chills. 3-million-year-old child's remains. In 2000, a team of archaeologists led by Zaresene in Ethiopia made an incredibly important discovery. They found the remains of a 3-year-old girl named Dakika. She lived and died during the early stages of human evolution, approximately 3 million years ago. What makes this discovery so special is that the girl's skeleton was not only nearly complete, but also contained many crucial clues about the origin and evolution of humans. Dakika's skeleton, although still very young, displayed several key features. The mummy had a complete set of baby teeth and characteristics such as a long face, flat nose, and curved finger bones, similar to those of ape species. This suggests that Dakika might have been able to climb as easily as a monkey, despite having the ability to walk on 2 legs. Additionally, small bone fragments in her throat opened up important hypotheses about the development of speech in humans. These are critical factors in studies of brain evolution and human communication capabilities. The area where Dakika was discovered is also quite significant. Located in a dry and challenging environment with many natural and wildlife obstacles, the area was once a low-lying swamp. However, the thick layers of gravel and sand surrounding the site helped preserve her body perfectly for thousands of years. Archaeologists spent 5 years excavating and studying the skeleton, carefully using acid to drill through each layer of stone. What makes this discovery even more remarkable is the study of the girl's brain. With a volume of approximately 20 cubic inches, similar to that of a 3-year-old chimpanzee. This further supports the hypothesis of slow brain development in early humans and the heavy dependence of children on their parents during the early stages of life. Although Dakika's life was very short, the evolutionary advancements she represents are of great significance. This discovery opens a door to exploring the physiological and psychological traits of our human ancestors while providing valuable clues about our evolution over millions of years. The 2,000-year-old couple mummies. Recently, archaeologists made a remarkable discovery at the ancient city of Taposiris Magna, located on the Nile Delta in Egypt. 2 mummies of a male and female couple, dating back 2,000 years, were unearthed, and what astounded experts was the method of embalming and the valuable burial goods they carried with them. This couple was carefully embalmed and covered in gold leaf, an extremely lavish burial ritual, indicating that they must have been extremely powerful figures in ancient Egyptian society. However, despite the sophisticated embalming method, their tomb was not sealed properly, resulting in the mummies being exposed to water multiple times over the 2,000 years. As a result, even though traces of a meticulous embalming process remain, neither mummy is as intact as the ancient Egyptians would have hoped. Nevertheless, archaeologists still found many valuable burial items, particularly 200 coins featuring the image of Cleopatra, clear evidence of the era and culture they belonged to. Another interesting detail is that on one of the mummies, the gold leaf covering retained an image of a scarab beetle, a famous symbol of rebirth in Egyptian culture. This suggests that the couple may have been high-ranking religious figures, acting as intermediaries between the mortal world and the gods. These theories are supported by the lavish nature of the burial and the religious symbols found on their burial goods, suggesting that this couple likely belonged to the upper class or had strong ties to religious rituals in ancient Egypt. You may not believe it, but for archaeologists, this discovery not only sheds light on the mysteries of ancient Egyptian life and beliefs, but also serves as a clear testament to the development of this civilization thousands of years ago. Innovative Egyptian mummies. Recently, scientists discovered a large tomb in Aswan containing 20 unusual Egyptian mummies. But these individuals were not ancient Egyptians. They were forgotten beings for many centuries. The story of this tomb begins with a Greek-Roman tomb, long plundered by ancient tomb robbers. This tomb, designated AGH-032, has a unique structure. Part of it is above ground, built with sandstone and mud brick, while the lower part is carved directly into the rock. Archaeologists have previously found over 300 tombs dating from the 6th century BCE to the 4th century CE in this area, and the newly discovered tomb dates to a similar period. However, the mummies in this tomb differ from those of the ancient Egyptian elite. The bodies were embalmed using the traditional Egyptian method, but in a much simpler and more rudimentary manner. Their coffins were mainly made from clay and sandstone, while the masks on the coffins were made from ancient cardboard-like materials, applied with layers of fibers or papyrus. Notably, the tomb also contained many fascinating artifacts, including animal bones, pottery shards, and offerings such as ritual tables and plates. A copper necklace inscribed with Greek letters and several stone slabs with hieroglyphics, surprisingly overlooked by tomb robbers, became crucial clues for researchers. These discoveries demonstrate the cultural crossover between the Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians. The history of the Greeks in Egypt began in the 7th century BCE, peaking in the 4th century BCE when Alexander the Great conquered Egypt and founded Alexandria. Egypt was subsequently ruled by the Roman Empire from 30 BCE, creating a complex and distinctive Greco-Roman culture in the region. The findings from tomb AGH032 serve as a vivid testament to the blending of these cultures and the lasting traces of this glorious period. The mysterious alien mummy. In 1996, a mysterious event shook the scientific community and fans of paranormal phenomena. In the town of Kish Tim, in the Chelyabinsk region of Russia, police discovered a small, oddly shaped mummy. Due to its tiny size and features that were unlike any known animal or human species, the mummy quickly became known as the Kish Tim alien. This discovery caused a stir in the scientific community as local medical experts conducted an examination and concluded that the mummy did not belong to any Earth-originating creature. The skull structure of the strange being astonished doctors. The skull only had 6 bones instead of the usual structures, with 4 of those bones being characteristics that couldn't be explained by congenital deformities. Its shape was vastly different from that of a human, with a large misshapen head and eyes that took up most of the face. According to researchers, when it was alive, the Kish Tim alien may have looked completely different from any Earth creature. The mystery deepened as researchers could not determine the origin of this being. One key figure in the investigation was Vadim Chernobrov, a UFO researcher who flew from Moscow to examine the mummy. Chernobrov believed this was a groundbreaking discovery, but all attempts to verify it were inconclusive, as the mummy mysteriously disappeared, leaving no trace behind. The situation became even more eerie with a series of strange accidents and the deaths of researchers. Shortly after coming into contact with the mummy, researcher Tamara Prosverina was involved in a car accident and passed away. Chernobrov, during his investigation, suddenly became paralyzed from the waist down and died shortly thereafter. Another scholar, Mark Milkhiker, suddenly died of a heart attack after investigating the body and returning to Moscow. These events led many to believe that the Kish Tim alien mummy carried a terrible curse. The disappearance of the mummy and the strange deaths have only made the story of the Kish Tim alien more mysterious than ever, raising unresolved questions about extraterrestrial beings and supernatural phenomena that may exist right under our noses. Mysterious frozen mummies. Researchers recently announced that they have discovered a collection of mysterious mummies from an Inuit family dating back 500 years that have been preserved almost intact. This is one of the most impressive archaeological discoveries in North America, as these mummies were not only preserved under special conditions, but also carry an intriguing story about the culture and customs of the Inuit people. This family, consisting of 8 individuals, passed away around 1475 in Greenland, including a 6-month-old baby, an older child, and 6 adult women. What's miraculous is that, despite the passing of centuries, these mummies still retain many details such as skin, nails, and hair, which greatly impressed scientists. Experts believe that the harsh and unique climate of the region played a crucial role in preserving these bodies. The extreme cold and dryness of this land helped the mummies survive almost perfectly over the centuries. However, one interesting and controversial detail is that the 6-month-old baby might have been buried alive. According to research, this was a traditional practice of the Inuit. When a mother died, her child would also be buried with her to ensure that both would live together in the afterlife. The graves containing these mummies were discovered in Kilakitsoq, an Inuit settlement in Greenland, in 1972, and to this day, they remain one of the greatest mysteries in archaeology. Researchers are still continuing to study these mummies, hoping to unravel more secrets surrounding the life and death of this Inuit hunter family. 2,100-year-old hawk boy mummy. In 1925, a local doctor brought a 2,100-year-old mummy of a boy to the Maidstone Museum in England, believed to belong to a hawk. This did not raise much surprise, as the outer wrappings were commonly used by the Egyptians to preserve mummies of animals like hawks, which were sacred creatures offered to the gods. For many years, the mummy was displayed to visitors and was still identified as that of a hawk, until a special study revealed the truth. In the 1990s, zoologist Andrew Nelson and colleagues at Western Ontario University conducted a thorough study of the mummy using CT scan technology. The results shocked everyone. The mummy, which had long been believed to be that of a hawk, was actually that of a young boy, estimated to be 23 to 28 weeks old. This was an extremely rare case, as the boy's brain and skull could not develop properly, with the entire head being incomplete and the vertebrae not yet fused, a sign of anencephaly, a birth defect that prevents the brain from developing at birth. Researchers speculate that, although the boy died before he could fully develop, his body was carefully embalmed with special respect for a life that never fully began. The outer wrapping of the mummy features an image of Osiris, the Egyptian god who rules the afterlife, along with depictions of the goddesses Iris and Nephthys standing beside him, all symbolizing a deep burial ritual. Notably, a three-bird figure with a human-like head, flying above Osiris, is painted on the wrapping, with the Ujat eye above, a symbol of protection and health. This discovery not only solves a long-standing mystery, but also offers a new perspective on the rituals and beliefs of ancient Egyptians, showing that even small beings like this boy were prepared for life after death with utmost reverence and care. The remains of powerful women from ancient Spanish civilization. Dr. Brenna Hassett, a biological anthropologist, has shared about her fascinating yet often eerie work. Her job primarily revolves around excavating remains from the past, studying the lives and deaths of those long gone. While this may seem strange to some, for Hassett, it provides an opportunity to uncover untold stories about our ancestors. Recently, he was particularly excited about a remarkable discovery published in the journal Antiquity. It involved a 700-year-old tomb found in Spain, containing the remains of a male and a female, along with valuable personal items. What caught the attention of archaeologists, however, was the female's remains in the tomb. She was buried with bracelets, a necklace, and an intricately crafted silver crown. These objects were not only valuable in terms of artistry, but also provided crucial clues about the deceased's social status. The discovery of such precious items in a woman's tomb challenged long-held assumptions that power in ancient societies was always male-dominated. Hassett believes that the woman in the tomb may not only have been an important family member, but could also have held a high position in society, potentially even wielding political power. This discovery came as a shock to previous understandings of ancient societies, where the role of women was often overlooked or undervalued. The valuable artifacts buried with this woman suggest that in some civilizations, women were not only important, but could also possess power equal to or surpassing that of men. This is one of the most striking examples of how history can sometimes surprise us with stories we never expected. The oldest mummy of Tashwinot. The Tashwinot mummy, discovered in a small cave in Wan Muhugiag, located in the Akakis mountain range of Fezzan, Libya, in 1958, is one of the most astounding archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. What makes this mummy particularly special is that it is not related to the ancient Egyptian civilization, as many often associate ancient mummies with Egypt. This mummy is that of a child, dating back over 5,000 years, discovered by Professor Fabrizio Mori, and is now on display at the Asaraya al-Hamra Museum in Tripoli. The child's death occurred around 3000 BCE, making the Tashwinot mummy one of the oldest mummies in the world. Notably, the child's internal organs were removed before being buried in the desert, a method of dissection and body preservation that ancient desert dwellers employed. Primitive preservatives were injected into the child's body, helping to maintain the remains as best as possible at the time. Carbon dating has shown that despite being thousands of years old, the mummy remains in relatively good condition, demonstrating that ancient people had incredibly unique and effective body preservation techniques. Interestingly, the Tashwinot mummy predates even the oldest ancient Egyptian mummies, which we are most familiar with. The discovery of this mummy has opened a new chapter in studying ancient cultures in North Africa, confirming that desert dwellers possess techniques and knowledge far beyond what we typically associate with ancient civilizations. The Tashwinot mummy is not only a valuable archaeological artifact, but perhaps also serves as evidence of the development of ancient cultures in the Sahara Desert, a place mysterious, unique, and full of secrets. 700-year-old Chinese beauty mummy. In 2011, during the expansion of a road in Taizhou City, Jiangsu Province, China, a group of workers unexpectedly discovered an ancient coffin about 6.5 feet underground. Upon this discovery, they immediately contacted experts from the Taizhou Museum to continue the investigation. Upon closer inspection, archaeologists confirmed that this was an ancient coffin, but what they found inside was even more astonishing than expected. The coffin contained a carefully preserved mummy, wrapped in several layers of cloth and fine silk. Surrounding the coffin was a layer of brown liquid. As the silk layers were removed, experts discovered the body of a woman, almost perfectly preserved, still wearing jewelry. What was particularly remarkable was that her eyebrows and eyelashes had not fallen out. The mummy is estimated to be around 4.9 feet tall and was named the Taizhou mummy, also referred to as the Chinese beauty mummy in local newspapers. Based on artifacts and jewelry found with her, experts believe this woman lived during the Ming Dynasty, from 1368 to 1644, making the mummy approximately 700 years old. Notably, among the jewelry was a distinctive green ring, indicating that she was likely part of the aristocracy of that time. The excellent preservation of this mummy has helped archaeologists learn a great deal about the society and hierarchy of the Ming Dynasty. However, the mysterious brown liquid surrounding the body remains an unsolved mystery. Some experts believe it could be a natural preservation method due to the unique burial environment, which halted the decay process due to a lack of oxygen and bacteria. With many questions still unanswered about the woman's identity, social status, and cause of death, Chinese archaeologists continue to investigate. The discovery of the Taizhou mummy has sparked curiosity and interest in ancient embalming techniques, opening the door to uncovering previously unknown mysteries about China's past. Egyptian mummy in Roman clothing. In April 2010, an archaeological discovery was made at the Bahariya Oasis tombs, located southwest of Cairo, Egypt. A 2,000-year-old mummy of a young girl was unearthed in relatively well-preserved condition, despite the tomb and surrounding artifacts being heavily damaged by sand and humidity over the centuries. The mummy, estimated to be about 38 inches tall, was placed in an intricately carved coffin, sparking much speculation among scientists and researchers about the identity and significance of the discovery. The young girl's mummy was dressed in an elaborate robe, with her head wrapped in cloth and accessorized with small items such as shoes, bracelets, and a beaded necklace. However, what most astonished and puzzled people was that the girl's eyes remained wide open, as though she were fully alert and staring straight ahead, creating a mysterious and haunting impression. Experts have speculated that these wide-open eyes might have been part of a special ritual or a unique embalming method used by ancient Egyptians to preserve life for the soul. Scientists have estimated that the girl passed away between 39 BCE and 395 CE. However, her identity and her social status in ancient Egyptian society remain a mystery. Was she a princess or a member of the nobility? Or was she an ordinary citizen with a remarkable death, commemorated through a special ritual? While these questions remain unanswered, this discovery highlights the wonder and mystery of ancient Egyptian civilization. With her identity still unclear, the secrets surrounding her death and embalming process remain a topic of debate and one of the unsolved mysteries in the history of Egyptian archaeology. Archaeologists open the tomb of a princess in China, but what they discover inside shocked the world. In the winter of 1958, the Qianling Mausoleum, the tomb of Emperor Gaozong of Tang, Li Ji, and Empress Wu Zetian, was accidentally discovered by a group of farmers who were blasting rocks to mine in Liangshan County, Shanxi Province, China. Today, Qianling Mausoleum remains one of the 3 mysterious tombs in China that have not yet been authorized for excavation. However, this discovery led to the excavation of several other royal and noble tombs from the Tang Dynasty by Chinese archaeologists. One such tomb is that of Princess Yong, born Li Xianhui in 685 and died in 701, the 7th daughter of Emperor Zhongzong of Tang, Li Xian, and Empress Wei. She was also the granddaughter of Empress Wu Zetian. Princess Yongtai was famous as one of the most beautiful women of the Tang Dynasty, but her life was filled with tragedy. When entering the tomb, the experts were startled to see an eerie figure behind the tomb's door. Initially, they thought it was a strange image, but after calming down, they realized it was simply a male skeleton. Upon further investigation, experts determined that this was the corpse of a grave robber who had attempted to break into the princess's tomb to steal burial items. However, during the robbery, a dispute broke out among the thieves. As a result, one of the thieves was killed by his accomplices and left near the tomb's entrance. As they ventured deeper into the tomb, the archaeologists discovered that the structure was quite intricate, with many rooms cleverly constructed to protect valuable burial items. What was remarkable was that the walls of the tomb remained largely intact, having been built from brick. At the deepest part of the tomb, the archaeologists found a stone sarcophagus containing the body of Princess Yong. However, the stone slab covering the sarcophagus had been moved, and there were signs of mud and sand inside, indicating that the tomb had been disturbed by grave robbers. When learning about the life of Princess Yong, many felt sorrowful for her tragic fate. As the daughter of Emperor Zhongzong of Tang, Princess Yong was exceptionally intelligent and beautiful from a young age. She was dearly loved and pampered by Empress Wu Zetian. When she reached marriageable age, Princess Yong wed Prince Wei Wu Yan. Their happiness was short-lived, as disaster struck. The trouble began when the couple discussed a high-ranking official favored by Wu Zetian, Zhang Yi. This conversation reached the ears of Empress Wu Zetian, who became furious. As a result, Wu Zetian ordered the execution of Princess Yong and her husband. At the time of her death, Princess Yong was only 17 years old, and it was at a time when her career and happiness were just beginning. The fate of this beautiful princess is truly heartbreaking, isn't it? Yet, the story of Princess Yong is just one among many mysterious and tragic tales that archaeologists have unraveled. Many other tombs of famous historical figures from ancient China have also been excavated. Each tomb holds untold stories, hidden secrets, and archaeological discoveries that may change our understanding of Chinese history. And these mysteries continue to unfold, inviting us to explore further. So, what are these tombs like? Let's continue the exploration together now. Lightning strikes reveal a tomb containing a huge treasure. According to records in the Chinese book Guangdong Xin Yu from the 9th year of the reign of Emperor Chongzhen, 1636, one day a fierce storm suddenly erupted in the sky, and a brilliant bolt of lightning cut across the sky, striking the ground with a deafening sound that shook the entire region. Moments later, the rain stopped, and strangely, everything became eerily silent. The local residents, curious about the unusual phenomenon, went outside to investigate and discovered a large tomb buried beneath the earth, one that had never been seen before. Its sudden appearance left the villagers stunned, and so the bravest among them decided to explore the tomb. Upon entering, they were astonished to find a treasure trove filled with priceless gold, silver, and jewels. Notably, there were 2 statues carved in the likeness of an emperor, along with 24 silver statues of people, including 12 civil officials and 12 military officials. These artifacts were undoubtedly the mark of a powerful figure, but at the time, no one was concerned about the identity of the tomb's owner. Instead, the overwhelming curiosity and greed for the enormous treasure turned the tomb into a victim of plunder. The villagers rushed to take the valuable relics, and the remains inside the tomb were severely damaged. The tomb was violated and forgotten for many years, with local residents even using it for various purposes, such as shelter during wartime and as a place for livestock grazing. It wasn't until 2003, when the Guangzhou government decided to expand the Fanyu district, that a team was established to survey the cultural heritage sites in the area. With the help of local residents, the archaeological team rediscovered the ancient tomb. Upon inspecting the tomb, they found a stone tablet inscribed with the words, Cao Zuo Tian Huang Da Di I Shuwen. Thanks to this inscription, the experts identified the tomb's owner as Liu Yan, the founder of the Southern Han Dynasty, who was the first emperor of the Southern Han during the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. According to historical records, Liu Yan was an autocratic, tyrannical, and violent emperor who imposed cruel punishments on criminals. Furthermore, the first emperor of the Southern Han was known for seizing the gold, silver, and treasures of his people, which led to widespread resentment. Despite being remembered as a cruel emperor, today, Liu Yan's tomb has been restored, protected, and recognized as a national cultural heritage site, now regarded as an integral part of China's history. The most treacherous tomb in China, the grave robber's one-way journey. In 2022, when a construction crew in Shenyang, Hubei Province, China, accidentally discovered a greenstone tablet inscribed with ancient characters, no one could have predicted that they had uncovered one of China's most mysterious and dangerous tombs. This stone tablet served as a clue leading to an incredible story, and the secrets hidden beneath it captured the attention of the archaeological community. After receiving the report, a team of 5 archaeologists was sent to the site to study and identify the tomb's origins. One expert hypothesized that the area had a strong positive energy, suggesting that the tomb's owner might have been a powerful man. The experts quickly defined the area of the tomb and speculated that the deceased could have been a military official or a noble figure in society. However, over time, the tomb inevitably fell victim to grave robbers. As expected, signs of intrusion were found, but as the archaeologists delved deeper into the tomb, they were met with a shocking and surprising discovery. Despite signs of intrusion, the tomb's entrance had not been forcefully broken into, and the dust inside was almost undisturbed. Incredibly, what they found inside were 80 bodies scattered in various positions, some twisted, some with mouths wide open, and some missing hands or feet, all having died under extremely tragic conditions. Based on the clothing and condition of the bodies, experts confirmed that these were the remains of 80 grave robbers from different periods. These robbers had been buried in the tunnels, surrounded by numerous digging tools, and none had successfully entered the tomb. As the archaeologists further examined the tomb's structure, they discovered a highly sophisticated defense system. The tomb's walls and ceiling were not built with ordinary soil, but with a layer of fine, dry sand that easily shifted. Whenever a grave robber tried to dig, the sand would flow through the holes they created, continuously pouring downward and blocking their way out. Furthermore, beneath the sinking sand were sharp stones that posed a deadly risk to anyone entering this area. One excavator specialist said, "If someone had entered here to rob the tomb, there was only one way out: death." For those who are unaware, the quicksand trap system was a common defensive weapon in ancient Chinese tombs. However, constructing a tomb with such a complete defense system required extraordinary design and engineering skills, showcasing the intelligence and foresight of the tomb's owner. Thanks to these elaborate traps, the tomb in Shenyang has been dubbed China's deadliest tomb by archaeologists. This tomb is indeed an important archaeological site and a testament to the wisdom and ingenuity of ancient Chinese rulers, making it a true symbol of their design prowess. Opening the ancient tomb reveals 20 coffins still moving. In 1978, while the Chinese Air Force was working on a radar defense repair factory project in Wuhan, Hubei Province, they unexpectedly discovered an ancient secret no one could have imagined. During the construction process, they found a stone door leading to an ancient tomb. They quickly reported this to their superiors, and relevant authorities and experts were sent to investigate. Archaeologists from the Hubei Provincial Museum immediately arrived on site to begin an excavation. Upon opening the large stone door, made from a single stone slab, the experts entered the tomb and found 20 coffins floating on water in a dark chamber. The coffins appeared to be moving, a phenomenon that caused alarm among the experts. However, after regaining their composure, they realized that the movement was due to water flooding the tomb, causing the coffins to float and sway. To protect the valuable artifacts and coffins, the archaeological team decided to drain the water from the tomb. The experts speculated that the presence of water was due to an earthquake or severe flooding, which had broken an underground water source and caused the tomb entrance to flood. The tomb had been submerged for some time, and the experts feared that the coffins might be severely damaged. Therefore, they quickly raised the 20 coffins to the surface for further inspection. Upon examining them, the archaeologists were shocked to find that all the remains inside the coffins were of young girls, aged between 13 and 16. These girls had been buried with invaluable artifacts, including musical instruments, gold, jade, bronze, weapons, and even chariots. Among the most remarkable discoveries was a set of 65 bronze bells weighing a total of 5,655 pounds, considered the largest and most complete set of bells ever unearthed in China. Based on the artifacts and clothing found in the tomb, experts hypothesized that these girls may have been dancers, buried in a special ritual with the hope that they would continue to perform for their master in the afterlife. Shortly thereafter, the archaeologists discovered another coffin on the eastern side of the tomb. This coffin contained the remains of a man, identified as the true owner of the tomb. The body was buried in a lacquered wooden coffin and measured approximately 5 feet 4 inches tall. Based on the inscription on the coffin, experts determined that this was the tomb of King Zhang Houyi, a ruler of the Zhang state, a vassal of the Chu dynasty during the Warring States period. King Zhang Houyi died in 433 BC, and upon hearing of his death, King Hui of Chu ordered the creation of the large bronze bell set and had it buried in his tomb as a symbol of respect and honor. This tomb, with its priceless artifacts and the historical stories behind it, is not only an impressive archaeological discovery, but also opens a window into the past, helping us better understand the life, beliefs, and rituals of ancient peoples. The astonishing secrets in the tomb of an emperor, greater than Qin Shi Huang. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor to unify China, left a deep mark on history, particularly with his legendary tomb. However, despite the fact that his tomb is considered one of China's great wonders, it is not the largest tomb built during China's feudal era. The grandest tomb, which took over 50 years to complete, is the Mawangdui tomb, the resting place of Emperor Wu of Han, Liu Che. Emperor Wu of Han, the 7th emperor of the Western Han Dynasty, was one of the greatest rulers in Chinese history. Reigning from 140 BC, he left a profound impact on strengthening and developing the country, ushering in an era of prosperity that lasted for decades. Notably, from the time he ascended the throne at the age of 16, Emperor Wu began planning for his eternal resting place, deciding to prepare a tomb worthy of his achievements. Mawangdui, the tomb of Emperor Wu, began construction in 138 BC and took 50 years to complete, showcasing the emperor's foresight and strategic vision. Located about 25 miles from Xi'an, Mawangdui is situated in a special area that houses the tombs of 9 other Han Dynasty emperors, creating a royal mausoleum complex. An interesting legend about the tomb's location states that during a hunting trip, Emperor Wu saw a creature resembling a dragon. Interpreting this as an auspicious omen, he decided to select this site as his final resting place, creating a mystical connection between nature and imperial power. The tomb is massive, standing at 153 feet tall and covering an area of 645,835 square feet. To complete this grand project, tens of thousands of workers labored for half a century. Because it was such an important and special project, hundreds of officials were assigned to oversee the construction and live near the site to ensure progress. When Emperor Wu passed away in 87 BC, his funeral was held with the utmost ceremony, and 18 days later, his body was placed in the Mawangdui tomb. Inside this tomb, in addition to priceless artifacts such as jade, jewels, and precious weapons, there was an underground palace covering 64,583 square feet and reaching a depth of 98 feet. This was the chamber where Emperor Wu's coffin was placed. Mawangdui is not only an architectural marvel, but also a testament to Emperor Wu's long-term vision. He not only wanted a resting place befitting his legacy, but also sought to protect his wealth and heritage so they would continue after his death. The grandeur and scale of Mawangdui have made it one of China's most famous royal tombs, and it is regarded by archaeologists as one of the greatest tombs ever built in China, even surpassing the tomb of Qin Shi Huang. 2,000-year-old astronomical calendar found in ancient tomb in China. In a stunning excavation in southwestern China, archaeologists uncovered a set of mysterious rectangular wooden fragments related to an ancient astronomical calendar. Remarkably, these wooden pieces were found in a tomb that is 2,000 years old, having been nearly perfectly preserved, offering valuable clues about ancient Chinese civilization. The set consists of 23 pieces, each approximately 1 inch wide and 4 inches long. Each piece is engraved with a character related to the heavenly stems and earthly branches system, one of China's traditional astronomical calendars. This system was established during the Shang Dynasty, around 1600 BC, and continues to be used today in fields such as astrology and timekeeping. Although writing on wood or bamboo was quite common before the invention of paper, this is the first time such wooden fragments have been found in an ancient tomb. According to archaeologists, one of the pieces may represent the current year, while the other 22 could be used to mark any specific year within the cycle of the ancient calendar. This discovery provides fascinating insight into how the ancient Chinese calculated time. The tomb was found in Wulong County, about 870 miles southwest of Beijing, in an area known for many important archaeological discoveries. The tomb dates back to around 193 BC, during the Western Han Dynasty, a golden age in Chinese history marked by prosperity and cultural development. According to archaeologist Wang Meng, this is the best preserved wooden tomb ever discovered in southwestern China. In addition to the wooden fragments, the tomb contains many other valuable artifacts, sparking curiosity about the person buried there. These artifacts include precious items such as jade, bronze, and other exquisite objects. Renowned astronomer Ed Krupp, director of the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, stated that the discovery of these engraved wooden calendar pieces is both rare and significant. He noted that this is the first and only example of such carvings on objects, providing a new understanding of how the ancient Chinese used the heavenly stems and earthly branches calendar in daily life. According to Krupp, this wooden calendar set is not a typical calendar, but could be used to reference any year within the Chinese 60-year cycle. The unbreachable tomb beneath the water. In Chinese history, there is one tomb that remains one of the greatest mysteries to this day, one that no one has been able to breach, the tomb of King Hapu, the famous ruler of the state of Wu. Despite numerous attempts by even the most powerful figures in history, the tomb of Hapu remains impervious. Even Qin Shi Huang, the great emperor known for his boundless ambition, lamented his inability to find a way into this tomb during his time. The tomb of Hapu was built over 2,500 years ago, during the Zhou dynasty, when King Hapu ruled. He was not only famous for his military prowess, but also for his keen interest in martial arts and warfare. When he passed away, his son Fu Chai constructed an extravagant tomb for his father at Hukou, Suzhou, China, spending millions of laborers and resources to complete it. The tomb not only contained gold and precious jewels, but also thousands of treasured swords, an immense and invaluable weapons cache. According to the records of the Grand Historian, an ancient Chinese text, King Hapu's tomb is said to contain up to 3,000 prized swords, although this is merely an estimate since the tomb has never been excavated. This has attracted grave robbers and archaeologists alike for centuries. The first known attempt to excavate the tomb came from King Gojian of Yue, who caused the downfall of Wu. However, despite his efforts, he was unable to locate the tomb. Later, in the late Warring States period, the legendary emperor Qin Shi Huang also made an attempt. He sent soldiers to Hukou, but despite thorough preparations, he failed to find the tomb's entrance. With all his power and ambition, Qin Shi Huang had no choice but to return empty-handed. But the story of this tomb did not end there. After Qin Shi Huang's failure, Xiang Yu, the hero from the anti-Qin resistance, also attempted to enter King Hapu's tomb in search of treasure. Like Qin Shi Huang before him, Xiang Yu was unsuccessful in finding a way inside. The story grew even more intriguing during the Ming Dynasty when a historical figure named Tang Baohu nearly brought the tomb to light once again. During a drought in Suzhou, the water around the tomb's lake receded, revealing signs of the tomb. Tang Baohu immediately ordered an excavation, but at the last moment, government officials stopped him from proceeding. In 1955, a group of archaeologists used machinery to drain the water from the lake, and they discovered inscriptions from Tang Baohu and several other historical figures. However, due to concerns over preserving cultural relics, they decided not to continue with the excavation. Undeterred, in 1978, the archaeological team decided to attempt another approach. This time, they discovered a triangular stone door, but when they tried to break it open, they found 3 massive stone slabs blocking the entrance. What made this even more intriguing was that these slabs were located on the Hukou Pagoda, an important symbol of Suzhou. After careful consideration, the experts decided not to proceed with the excavation, as breaking the slabs could damage the Hukou Pagoda. To this day, the tomb of King Hapu remains intact and has never been fully excavated. It stands as one of the greatest mysteries in Chinese archaeology. Despite numerous attempts by experts, no one has yet found a way to enter this enigmatic tomb. As such, the tomb of King Hapu continues to be a source of great regret for archaeologists and a testament to the power and mystique of ancient Chinese tombs. Archaeologists were shocked to discover an 80,000-year-old skeleton beneath the Valley of Death. The Death Valley is located in the Mojave Desert of California, It holds the record for the highest temperature in the western United States, with a scorching 136 degrees recorded on July 10, 1913. Because of this, it is also called the Valley of Fire. Although the valley became famous during the gold rush of 1849, ironically, only one death was reported among the many who sought fortune during this period. For over 1,000 years, the Timbisha people, indigenous to this harsh land, have been the only inhabitants. Both in the past and present, this land has always been shrouded in strange, undeniable mysteries. One of the most peculiar stories emerged in the summer of 1947, coinciding with the world's growing curiosity about flying saucers. In early August of that year, Howard E. Hill, from Los Angeles, gave a speech to the city's transportation club, recounting an incredible tale. This was a seemingly absurd story about the work of Sir F. Bruce Russell, a retired doctor from Cincinnati, Ohio, who claimed to have discovered a series of complex tunnels deep beneath Death Valley in 1931. While underground caves are found throughout the world, there was something very special and unique about the tunnels beneath Death Valley. According to Hill's account of Russell's story, these caves contained the skeletons of giants, nearly 10 feet tall, with limbs around 6 feet long. These were discovered by Russell and his colleague, Dr. Daniel S. Bovee, with whom he had worked on an archaeological excavation project in Mexico years earlier. Hill reported that the giants wore pants consisting of a mid-length coat and loose trousers that were slightly below the knee. The material appeared to be pieces of gray-dyed sheep hide, though it certainly wasn't from any known species today. The story became even stranger when Hill mentioned that deep within the earth, where Russell and Bovee traveled, they encountered what seemed like a temple used for rituals, decorated with items resembling those currently used by Freemasons. Even more surprising, the remains of saber-toothed tigers and ancient woolly mammoths were scattered across the floor of the vast chamber. This underground kingdom wasn't just a tunnel or two. Hill revealed that, by estimates, there were at least 32 tunnels spread across an area of 180 miles, encompassing all of Death Valley and parts of southern Nevada. As for the age of the skeletons, though no clear documentation exists, Russell estimated them to be around 80,000 years old, or possibly even older. Local media quickly cited opinions from unnamed professional archaeologists who mocked the story, claiming that everyone who had listened to it was simply indulging in an April Fool's joke. But some argued that no professional archaeologist would dare accept the challenge of seeking such extraordinary evidence, which seemed unreliable and naive. As a result, only Howard E. Hill continued to speak on behalf of Dr. Russell, the one who had actually carried out the work, until the story mysteriously faded away. Even Hill, Russell, and Bovee mysteriously disappeared into the shadows, or perhaps they vanished deep within the ancient caves, never to return. Mysteries remain as mysteries, and what we need is a clear and satisfying explanation. But no, archaeologists remain silent. Of course, the story of the mysterious skeletons is not the only one. There are many other skeletons discovered in places you could never imagine, carrying even more eerie stories and secrets behind them. What are these discoveries? Will archaeologists ever decipher the mysteries surrounding them? Stay tuned for the next footage in this video with me to find the answers. More than 300 skeletons found under the floor of a bar under construction. During an unexpected excavation in Pembrokeshire, Wales, UK, construction workers building a new bar stumbled upon a mass grave containing over 300 skeletons, about half of which were children. This discovery quickly caught the attention of archaeologists and experts, who immediately arrived to conduct the excavation and investigate the site. In their research, they not only uncovered hundreds of skeletons, but also realized that this might be an ancient burial site for victims of a major battle, possibly dating back to the 15th century. Specifically, it is thought to be the burial site of Saint Saviour, a cemetery that has existed for over 600 years, tied to the history of Haverfordwest. Among the skeletons found, one was discovered holding a chalice, suggesting that the individual may have been an important figure in the ancient community. In addition to the skeletons, the excavation team discovered many artifacts and ancient bricks, which were collected and preserved for further study. These included significant religious and daily life items, providing additional clues about the culture and society of that time. Archaeologists believe that this area once housed an important structure, including stables, a reading room, and even a hospital. These discoveries not only shed light on the history of Haverfordwest, but also serve as a key to understanding life in 15th century Pembrokeshire. Even archaeologist Gabby Lester, a member of the excavation team, expressed her emotions, stating, "Never, even in my wildest dreams, did I think I would be part of such a monumental discovery. This area is an important part of the history of Haverfordwest and Pembrokeshire. It will surely be a special event for scientists, a treasure trove of valuable knowledge that opens new doors for future research." The 166 skulls found in a mass grave in the drug cartel war zone in Mexico. In September 2018, a chilling excavation took place at a mass grave in Veracruz, Mexico, where investigators discovered 166 skulls, all belonging to victims of the bloody war between two notorious drug cartels. This was not the first time such mass graves had been uncovered, but the brutality and scale of the conflict left a deep mark on society. According to prosecutor Jorge Winkler, the bodies in this grave were buried in 2016, though the exact number of bodies still remains undetermined. The victims are believed to be casualties of the war between the Zeta and Jalisco cartels, and the area had been a hotspot for violent clashes. Despite the police and investigators using modern technologies such as ground-penetrating radar and drones to pinpoint the exact location, local authorities did not disclose the specific details of the discovery for security reasons. This mass grave not only contained the remains of innocent victims, but was also part of a larger chain of kidnappings, extortions, and murders carried out by the drug cartels. Investigators revealed that most of the victims were innocent people, including Mexican immigrants who hoped to cross into the U.S. They were kidnapped by the cartels for ransom and then ruthlessly murdered. A heartbreaking example of this tragic story comes from Mrs. Maria de Lourdes Rosales Calvo, a mother who searched for her son for 5 years. Her 25-year-old son and his girlfriend were kidnapped by armed men at their home. 4 days later, she received a ransom call, paying a sum just to hear her son's voice for 5 seconds. After that, she never received any more information about her son. When hearing about the mass grave's discovery, Mrs. Calvo shared that it gave her a faint hope that her son might have been found and that she might finally learn the truth. This was not the first time Mexican investigators were alerted about mass graves. In 2016 and 2017, investigators discovered 253 skulls buried in a mass grave on the outskirts of Veracruz's capital. In 2011, police found 236 bodies buried in Durango. According to investigators, the victims were mostly Mexican immigrants attempting to reach the U.S. They were kidnapped in public places for ransom and killed by the Zeta cartel. The 44 mysterious skeletons found in a cave. In a mountainous region famous for its Maya ruins in Belize, a Central American country, scientists discovered something even older and more valuable than anything previously found in the area. It was a cave containing 44 skeletons. But what was most unusual was that the 44 skeletons buried here did not come from the same time period. Their ages range from 1,000 to 9,600 years ago. This finding led the research team to declare the burial site a unique treasure, as they believe that studying these 44 individuals will provide a comprehensive picture of the life, diet, agriculture, diseases, customs, and more that people in this region experienced over 9,000 years of history. According to a team from the University of Exeter, UK, the skeletons were exceptionally well preserved, likely due to the natural sealed environment of the cave. The group includes men, women, and children, creating an almost perfect representation of an ancient community. They began their study by examining the diet, discovering that around 4,700 years ago, corn, today's staple crop, was first cultivated and used by humans. At that time, corn made up 1/3 of the diet, but in just 700 years, it increased to 70%, providing evidence of sophisticated farming practices. This crop is also considered the backbone of pre-Maya agriculture, with clear evidence of its cultivation dating back 2,000 years. Meanwhile, the oldest skeletons live primarily on herbs and berries. Excavation and research on these skeletons are still ongoing, and more mysteries may be revealed, promising exciting insights into a mysterious period of history, possibly involving the ancestors of the legendary Maya civilization. 2,500-year-old skeleton found in a swamp. In October 2023, the Police Service of Northern Ireland, PSNI, announced that they had discovered human bone fragments in a peat bog in Bellaghy. Initially, authorities believed the remains could be from a victim of a modern murder, but after thorough analysis, experts determined the skeleton dates back approximately 2,500 years. The skeleton was remarkably well preserved, thanks to the unique environment of the bog. As a result, the skin, left fingernail, toenails, and even one kidney of the individual were still intact. Although the skull was missing and the bones were scattered, advanced analysis methods confirmed that the skeleton belonged to a male who died between the ages of 13 and 17. What made this identification especially significant was the use of carbon isotope, dating for the first time by experts in Northern Ireland to determine the time of death. The results showed that the person had died between 2,000 and 2,500 years ago. This method was carried out at the 14 Chrono Center at Queen's University Belfast, where scientists also used ground-penetrating radar to survey the area where the remains were discovered. These surveys confirmed that the skeleton was found approximately 1 meter below the current surface, matching the results of the radiocarbon dating. Additionally, the bone fragments were found within a cluster of fossilized plant material, suggesting the individual may have been buried in a grassland or swept into the swamp due to flooding. Currently, experts are working with the National Museum of Northern Ireland to preserve the skeleton and continue researching this individual. The goal is not only to uncover the cause of death, but also to decode the mysteries surrounding the society and culture of the people who lived in Northern Ireland thousands of years ago. Researchers hope that further analysis will provide more understanding of this person's life and the living conditions in prehistoric Northern Ireland. Skeleton of a victim of execution from 2,500 years ago. During an archaeological survey for the construction of a new high-speed rail line connecting London with major cities such as Birmingham, Manchester, and Leeds, archaeologists working on the HS2 project made a remarkable discovery at Welwick Farm, near the town of Wendover, Buckinghamshire, UK. The skeleton, dating back to the Iron Age, approximately 2,500 years ago, was found in an unusual and significant position. The man was discovered face down in a trench, with his hands bound behind his pelvis. This positioning suggests that he was either murdered or executed. The bone researchers are currently conducting analysis to learn more about the cause of death and any other clues that may help to unravel this mystery. In addition to the skeleton, the team also uncovered a massive wooden post circle with a diameter of about 213 feet, aligned along the solstice axis. This structure bears similarities to the famous Stonehenge in Wiltshire, one of the great monuments of the Bronze Age. This suggests that the area may have been an important center for religious or ceremonial activities during the Iron Age. The HS2 project has significantly expanded our understanding of the long human history in Buckinghamshire. Dr. Rachel Wood, an archaeologist involved in the project, shared, "This discovery shows that this region is not only archaeologically valuable, but also a testament to thousands of years of history, from the Neolithic to the medieval period. The findings, particularly the skeletons and unique structures, will provide deeper insights into the daily life, labor, and death of ancient peoples." In addition to the skeletal remains and the wooden post circle, the project has also uncovered a skeleton buried in a lead-lined coffin, a valuable material clearly indicating a class distinction in ancient society. Mike Court, the lead archaeologist for the HS2 project, emphasized, "These discoveries offer an invaluable archaeological treasure, not only deepening our understanding of Buckinghamshire's history, but also broadening our research on the cultural heritage of the entire UK. Studying these findings will help us gain a better understanding of the lives and deaths of past generations, further enriching our knowledge of human history." The 215 child skeletons found beneath a boarding school in Canada. On May 28th, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau shared heartbreaking news that shocked and saddened the nation. 215 children's remains were discovered on the grounds of the former Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia. These children were students of the school, which operated until it closed in 1978. On Twitter, Trudeau expressed his sorrow, saying, "This news breaks my heart. It is a pain that reminds us of a dark and shameful chapter in our country's history." The discovery was made using ground-penetrating radar technology, which allowed experts to detect burial sites that were previously invisible to the naked eye. The Tecumloops T. Secwepemc First Nation, a tribe with strong ties to the Kamloops School, stated that this was an unfathomable loss, as there had been rumors of such events but no clear records. What makes this discovery even more tragic is that it is not the first time Canada has faced the painful legacy of the residential school system for Indigenous people. In 2015, a 6-year investigation concluded that Canada's residential school system, which forcibly separated many Indigenous children from their families and communities, had caused a cultural genocide. According to the investigation's report, over 4,100 children died during their time in these schools, but the deaths of the 215 children at Kamloops were not mentioned in the investigation, increasing the sorrow and anger felt by Indigenous communities and the broader Canadian society. This revelation once again highlights the profound trauma that Indigenous people have suffered for decades. Although the Canadian government formally apologized for the residential school system in 2008, this new discovery shows that the pain and loss experienced by Indigenous families have not been fully addressed. The Tk'emlúps T Secwepemc First Nation has since begun working with investigative experts and reaching out to families whose children attended Kamloops to gather information and publish preliminary results soon. These efforts will not only help shed light on a part of Canada's dark history, but also offer an opportunity for the Indigenous community to seek justice and truth for the lost children. The pain cannot be erased, but this is an important step forward in the journey toward healing and reparations for the suffering they have endured for so many years. The skeleton of a woman buried in a wooden canoe nearly 900 years ago. Recently, archaeologists discovered a fascinating skeleton buried in a wooden canoe at the Nuin-Ontug burial site of the Mapuche people, located in the Chapelco Mountains of Patagonia, Argentina. This find is estimated to be nearly 900 years old and is likely the earliest known example of canoe burials in South America. After analysis, the archaeologists confirmed that the remains belonged to a young woman who passed away between the ages of 17 and 25. While the cause of her death remains undetermined, the discovery of her burial, along with a rich collection of artifacts including a ceramic vessel and nearly a dozen freshwater mollusk shells, surprised the researchers. One of the most striking aspects of the discovery was the wooden canoe, made from a Chilean cedar tree and hollowed out by fire. Nearly 600 pieces of charred wood were found at the excavation site, indicating that the canoe played a significant role in the burial ritual. Using radiocarbon dating on the bones, the researchers concluded that the woman died around the year 1142, suggesting she was likely a member of the Mapuche civilization, the largest indigenous group in South America. This discovery challenges previous theories that canoe burials only began during the Spanish colonial period. In fact, the practice of using canoes in burial rites dates back to pre-colonial times and was an integral part of South American indigenous traditions. This finding further highlights the Mapuche culture's unique beliefs and practices long before the arrival of Europeans. Notably, this discovery also evokes comparisons to other cultures around the world, particularly the Vikings, who were known for burying warriors and leaders in longboats. However, the key difference in the Nuin-Ontug discovery is that the canoe was believed to aid the soul's journey to the afterlife. The artifacts found inside the canoe may have been offerings to a mythical figure known as the canoe guide, who helped the soul navigate the dangerous journey. This figure was rewarded with lanka, a highly valuable blue stone. Stone Age skeletons found in a mass grave. 7 human skeletons, 2 male, 1 female, 3 children, 1 infant skull, and several broken hand bones, along with a number of disarticulated arm bones, were recently discovered by archaeologists in Bergheim, France, in an ancient mass grave. This chilling discovery has unveiled secrets about the violence that existed 6,000 years ago. A report about the find, published in the December issue of the archaeological journal Antiquity, stated that the people in the grave were likely killed in an attack or skirmish and then buried in the pit, where several severed left arms, chopped off with axes or sharp weapons, were already placed. The identities of the owners of the severed arms are still unclear. All the skeletons had their arms intact, except for 1 male skeleton with a skull damaged by a strong blow. This skeleton was missing the left arm, but researchers have not yet determined whether the missing arm was among the remains in the grave. Archaeologist Fanny Chanal, from the Antia Archaeological Institute in Hobsheim, and her team are unsure whether the perpetrators targeted the left arm for any specific reason, but they hypothesize that the severed left arms might have been considered war trophies. Fragments of hand bones scattered at the bottom of the grave suggest that the hands from the severed arms were deliberately mutilated. Radiocarbon dating of the bones indicates that the people in the grave lived about 6,000 years ago, during the Neolithic period. During this time, people from agricultural communities were typically buried in round-mouthed pits. However, the Bergheim discovery provides the first evidence that those who died in confrontations during this period were also buried in such pits. This is an important finding, raising more questions than answers. Before this discovery, the nature of Neolithic mass graves had remained shrouded in mystery. Many scientists believe the pits were remnants of storage silos, later repurposed for burials. Others suggested that the pits were dug as graves for high-status individuals, with their servants and relatives being killed to accompany them. Another theory posits that slaves may have been killed and buried in the pits as offerings to the gods. Alongside the skeletons, several artifacts were discovered, including a piece of shell jewelry, a stone spear point, a pig's jawbone, and 2 rabbit skeletons, items that seem fitting for ritual offerings. It is difficult to say which hypothesis is the most accurate in this case. Scientists, shocked to discover alien-like skeleton inside ancient Egyptian pyramid. Alien mummy in the Egyptian pyramid. The famous pyramids of Egypt have long been one of humanity's greatest mysteries, with a series of strange and unexplained discoveries. Recently, a groundbreaking find has raised questions about the connection between this ancient civilization and extraterrestrial life. According to archaeologists, during a survey at the Sinusert II pyramid area, they discovered a strange mummy in a small tomb nearby. This was not a human mummy as usual, but rather a creature resembling a reptilian species. The mummy, which is about 1.5 to 1.6 meters tall, has unusually large, oval-shaped eyes, leading many to believe it could belong to an extraterrestrial being. Once the discovery was made public, the Egyptian government immediately denied it and sealed off all information, causing unease within the research community. However, some sources from the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities later revealed more about this mummy, stating that it was perfectly preserved and its unusual features could not be explained by modern science. According to the information disclosed, this mummy was discovered by Dr. Viktor Lubeck, a Czech archaeologist from the University of Pennsylvania, while he and his research team were surveying the Sinusert II pyramid area. The room containing the mummy was inside a small pyramid to the south of the Queen Pharaoh's burial site and was protected by a strange mixture of gold and clay, along with unidentified objects. What was particularly striking were the inscriptions on the mummy, suggesting it could be the remains of an advisor named Osirinet, referred to as the Star or Messenger from the Sky, a title that might indicate an extraterrestrial origin. This discovery became even more mysterious when archaeologists found an ancient document that described an unknown object crashing into the Cairo area about 5,000 years ago. The object was described as a flying chariot with a survivor, who was said to be the one who designed the pyramids. As a result, archaeologists believe that extraterrestrials might have been the creators of these ancient wonders. However, all of this is based on historical records, so the exact truth remains unknown. The Egyptian government has reached out to numerous senior archaeologists for assistance, but no one has yet been able to explain the discovery according to conventional reasoning. Nevertheless, all experts who have seen the mummy agree that it is not a creature from Earth. In fact, an anonymous source even believes that a reasonable explanation could be that this is an alien who once served as an advisor to the Egyptian king. However, government officials have dismissed any suggestions that the extraordinary civilization of ancient Egypt was supported by extraterrestrials. In the end, experts pointed out that, although there is no definitive proof to confirm that the mummy discovered so far came from outer space, this finding has given us great hope regarding its impact on the development of history, and it is very likely that archaeologists will have to reassess their current understanding of history and the unsolved mysteries of the past thousands of years. Horned human skull. In the 1880s, a strange discovery shocked the town of Sayre, Pennsylvania. Specifically, a group of people digging in the area unearthed a massive tomb containing unusually shaped human skeletons. The skulls found had a very peculiar feature. The bone above the eye sockets protruded about 5 cm, making them appear as though they had horns. This led to the hypothesis that these individuals might have belonged to a special race with giant bodies, standing over 2 meters tall. Scientists estimate that these skeletons date back to around the year 1200 AD, However, it's important to note that this was not the first time horned human skulls had been discovered. In the 19th century, similar bone samples were found in various locations across the United States. One reason this discovery gained significant attention is that throughout history, horns have been seen as symbols of power. Ancient records even describe Alexander the Great being depicted on coins with horns, indicating a connection between horns and powerful figures in history. According to historical documents, the strange skeletons from Sayre were sent to the American Investigative Museum in Philadelphia for further research. However, shortly after, they were stolen and no one has been able to find them since. It is known that many photographs of these skulls still exist, but many remain skeptical about their authenticity, believing it to be an elaborate hoax designed to attract attention. Nevertheless, the mystery of the horned skulls remains unsolved. Archaeologists have yet to provide a satisfactory conclusion, and this story continues to be one of the great enigmas of human history, awaiting resolution in the future. "1,000-year-old deformed skulls." During excavations at a cemetery in Mos-Ixé-Dulo, Hungary, archaeologists uncovered dozens of alien skulls over 1,000 years old. Mos-Ixé-Dulo was once part of the Roman Empire and was referred to as Pannonia Valeria. According to expert research, in the 5th century AD, it was common for people in Central Europe to practice skull deformation. From a young age, children were subjected to skull-shaping tools that made their heads resemble an egg shape. With this appearance, these skulls were thought to resemble those of extraterrestrial beings seen in science fiction films. The purpose behind the skull deformation among ancient Romans remains a mystery. However, it is known that the 5th century was a period of significant political upheaval. During that time, the Roman Empire was on the brink of collapse. Amidst this turmoil, some people from Asia and Eastern Europe who were part of the Roman Empire began to migrate to other regions. This is believed to be one of the signs of the empire's decline, gradually fading away from history. The secret entrance, beneath the ears of the Egyptian Sphinx. The massive Sphinx in Egypt has stood for thousands of years, yet the debates surrounding it seem far from resolved. Recently, archaeologists discovered a secret entrance leading to the pharaoh's burial chamber, where the mummy of the pharaoh remains undiscovered. While the smile of the Mona Lisa has fueled countless debates among researchers, the austere, enduring expression of the Sphinx seems to be the least discussed mystery of the many surrounding the statue. Most Egyptologists agree that the face closely resembles that of Pharaoh Khafra, which is understandable given that the statue was commissioned during his reign. However, the rumors surrounding the Sphinx have never been fully explained. More precisely, since the massive excavation led by Emile Barrès in 1926, the Sphinx has raised more questions than answers, particularly as the 3 pyramids at Giza are suspected to contain the mummies of 3 pharaohs. Scholars believe that the monumental pyramids of Giza were built to house the mummies of pharaohs. Recently, historian Matthew Sibson, also a YouTuber, proposed a theory that the Sphinx contains ancient pharaoh mummies. He created a video taking viewers on a journey to explore the little-known passage behind the Sphinx that leads to the undiscovered burial chamber. Sibson's theory is based on research conducted by scholars from the 17th to 19th centuries. He revealed that in 1679, Johann Michael van Sleben discovered the passage within the Sphinx, and Egyptologist Auguste Mariette fully explored it in 1853, uncovering many secrets hidden within the Sphinx. The passage runs through the body of the Sphinx, ultimately leading to a mysterious void beneath the statue. However, the entrance was sealed in 1926 during the restoration of the Sphinx. During the restoration that year, the passage was blocked with cement, making it nearly impossible to see the chamber below. Despite this, Mariette's discovery still stands as evidence of a burial chamber hidden behind the passage. The passage, originally a natural crack in the rock, was expanded by human hands. Although the passage is now sealed, if you watch the video, you will still easily spot the entrance behind the Sphinx leading to that secret room. The 29,000-year-old unicorn skull. For decades, scientists believed that the Siberian unicorn, a massive mammal resembling a rhinoceros, went extinct around 350,000 years ago. However, a shocking discovery in Kazakhstan in 2016 completely changed this theory. Archaeologists found a nearly intact skull of the Siberian unicorn, and through radiocarbon dating, they determined that the specimen was about 29,000 years old. This suggests that the Siberian unicorn may have survived much longer than previously thought. Descriptions of the Siberian unicorn reveal it was a giant animal, about 2 meters tall, 4.5 meters long, and weighing around 4 tons. Its size was closer to that of a mammoth than a mythical horse. Despite its enormous size, its diet consisted mainly of grass, and it had a long, slender horn protruding from its face, distinctly different from the broad horn of today's rhinoceros. These features helped cement the Siberian unicorn's legendary status in human culture. The skull was found in the Pavlodar region of eastern Kazakhstan, in relatively good condition. Based on the size and condition of the skull, researchers from Tomsk University identified it as a mature male, although the cause of death remains unclear. However, what confounds scientists is how this species could have survived so long when many other species from the same era went extinct. One hypothesis put forward by Andrei Shpansky, a member of the research team, is that the Siberian unicorn may have found a safe haven in southern western Siberia, where the environment might have been more suitable during the Ice Age. Another possibility is that the animal migrated south to warmer areas, allowing it to survive longer than other species. The mysterious ancient painting in the Amazon rainforest. The debate about prehistoric civilizations has always been a contentious topic. Throughout history, there have been many legends about mysterious civilizations, from Atlantis and Plato's dialogues to stories about other ancient peoples. However, for many of these cases, evidence to confirm the existence of these civilizations is extremely hard to come by. Recently, a remarkable discovery was made in the Amazon rainforest: the discovery of a prehistoric mural, intricate and unique in ways unimaginable, which sheds light on this matter. Although it is unclear whether this mural is related to Atlantis, it raises mysterious questions about ancient civilizations and their development. Since the 1960s, Colombia has faced a civil war lasting over half a century. After many attempts, a ceasefire agreement was finally reached on June 23, 2016. Following this, an archaeological team from the UK and Colombia ventured into the Amazon rainforest and discovered a vast area of rock paintings at Serranía La Lindosa. These artworks include depictions of animals such as giant sloths, camels, and horses, as well as images of life and hunting in ancient times. These paintings not only spark curiosity about the civilization that created them, but also raise questions about the existence of giant creatures in the past. The images of humans wearing bird masks and strange half-human, half-animal creatures make the mural even more intriguing and mysterious. While many believe the Maya civilization was one of the most famous prehistoric cultures in Central America, many aspects of life and art depicted in the mural raise questions about the origins and scope of this civilization. Archaeologists have suggested that this rock wall may be thousands of years old, and its preservation over millennia is a fascinating mystery. It's clear that although the Maya civilization faded by the late 17th century after Spanish colonial rule, these new discoveries open up new questions and potential insights into humanity's mysterious past. The 2,700-year-old ancient toilet. In 2021, Israeli archaeologists unearthed an incredible artifact, an ancient toilet. This toilet was found at the cultural center of Jerusalem, Israel, in a ruined palace overlooking the ancient city. According to scientist Yaakov Billig, the toilet was likely used at the end of the Jewish king's reign, 7th century BCE, about 2,700 years ago. Many people have asked how a stone pillar with a hole on top could be considered a toilet. Archaeologists explained that they also discovered a cesspit dug from the limestone beneath the toilet. However, due to budget constraints, the excavation was not completed at the time, so only part of it was unearthed. What's remarkable is that although the toilet and cesspit were not fully excavated, Billig estimates the size of the bathroom to be about 1.5 × 2 meters, roughly similar to modern-day bathrooms. Billig's research team also found the toilet seat in place, though it was made of limestone, unlike the plastic or acrylic commonly used in modern times. As previously mentioned, the toilet was found in a palace, a royal structure dating back to the Iron Age. The palace's pillars were carved with symbols of the Jewish kings. It can be imagined that this was not a toilet for the common people, but a luxurious item preferred by the nobility. Excavating a personal ancient bathroom is extremely rare in Israel, as at that time, toilets were privileges reserved for the wealthy. What's even more peculiar is that the archaeologists made another unusual discovery. They found 30-40 bowls in the bathroom. Eating in the bathroom and enduring unpleasant odors, how could one swallow such a thing? Scientists speculate that these bowls may have served a special purpose, such as holding aromatic substances like perfumes or scented wax. Of course, research into this ancient toilet didn't stop there. The scientists studied the cesspit beneath it to learn more about the eating habits and digestion of the late Iron Age aristocracy. In the cesspit, the team collected 15 sediment samples and found roundworm, tapeworm, pinworm, and hookworm eggs under the microscope. This indicates that the wealthy in ancient Jerusalem may have suffered from a variety of diseases. Stones with the ability to reproduce and move. Perhaps among us, at least a few people have read or heard about mythical tales involving magical stones that have the ability to grow, move, and even multiply, just like living creatures. However, these legends are indeed based on reality. The small town of Kostesti is home to some truly unique geological phenomena, where stones are literally growing. These stones, which resemble potatoes, have long intrigued the local people. Researchers suspect that these unusually spherical stones were formed due to intense and prolonged seismic activity during the Middle Miocene epoch. The shockwaves generated by major earthquakes compressed sand sediments and compacted limestone cement into spherical clumps, commonly known as trovants. But what causes these stones to grow, move, and reproduce? To answer this question, scientists have conducted research and explained as follows. Trovants are composed of a hard rock core with sand or gravel forming around it. These unique structures can only form in high-porosity sand accumulations and sandstone sediments, bound together by calcium carbonate-rich water. Calcium carbonate is essential in the formation of trovants, and it also plays an important role in their growth when rainwater is absorbed. After each heavy rainfall, trovants absorb minerals from the rainwater, which then naturally combine with the chemicals already present in the stone, triggering a reaction and internal pressure. This pressure causes the stone to grow outward from the center and reproduce, with a deposition rate of about 4 to 5 cm every 1,000 years. Trovants typically have smooth, rounded shapes without edges, and they can be cylindrical or spherical. The infrequent natural secretion of cement is the reason why the stones grow into inconsistent shapes as they expand and reproduce, and this applies to their size as well. They can range from a few millimeters to as large as 10 meters. But it's not just the structure and growth capabilities. Their reproduction makes these trovant stones truly unique. They can also move from one place to another. And if that's not astonishing enough, they even have root-like extensions and visible growth rings when cut. Yet to this day, scientists have been unable to explain these remarkable features. From an observational perspective, it's evident that these trovant stones clearly exhibit characteristics of both a plant and a rock, leaving it unclear whether they should be classified as living organisms. Regardless of whether they are living or not, these growing stones still present a majestic sight, an unmissable feature when visiting the Valsia County of Romania. Sea dragon fossils from the Triassic period. A team of scientists led by paleontologist Martin Sander from the University of Bonn, Germany, recently discovered 3 fossils dating back 205 million years, belonging to the famous marine reptiles known as ichthyosaurs, also called fish lizards. They are called fish lizards due to their bizarre body shape resembling a monstrous whale, but their true nature is that of reptiles. They were incredibly dangerous predators in the oceans during the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. The 3 sea dragons appeared at different peaks in the Alps. The first and second fossils consisted of ribs and vertebrae, and calculations revealed that, when alive, these creatures were 21 meters and 15 meters long, respectively. The third fossil only contained a 15 centimeter long tooth, 6 centimeter wide, indicating that when it was alive, it must have been up to 54 meters long. This means that these 3 individuals elevated the ichthyosaurs to one of the largest marine species during the time these monstrous reptiles dominated the planet. The largest ichthyosaur ruled the peak of Krachenhorn near Davos, Switzerland. Its size was inferred from a more complete ichthyosaur fossil, 18 meters long, described last year. This specimen had a tooth with a 2 centimeter wide base, much smaller than the 6 centimeter wide 15-centimeter long tooth recently uncovered by scientists. It is known that large sea dragons were predators of sperm whales, giant squid, large fish, and even smaller ichthyosaurs in the ancient monster-filled oceans. The reason these marine monsters became fossilized atop mountains is thought to be due to the tectonic plate process of the Earth, where the plates continually shift, reshaping the continents and oceans. A segment of the Triassic Ocean has, over the course of 205 million years, transformed into the Alps, thus preserving the monsters within it, giving the world a chance to see them once again. Shocking discoveries in King Tutankhamun's tomb, the greatest king of ancient Egypt. Hello everyone! In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter discovered what he had been searching for over the course of 6 years: the tomb of King Tutankhamun, the greatest king in the history of ancient Egypt. The tomb is nestled in the Valley of the Kings, near Luxor, Egypt, and the treasures within it are still considered one of the most legendary discoveries in archaeology. However, Carter's glory and fame came at a cost, because on the day Carter opened the tomb, a snake killed his pet canary. According to the New York Times, some Egyptian staff believed this to be a warning from the spirit of the deceased king, telling them not to further disturb his tomb. Rumors about the mummy's curse continued, especially when those involved in the excavation began to die. However, as decades passed and more members of Carter's team passed away, scientists began to question whether there was another explanation for these deaths. In April 1923, George Herbert, the 5th Earl of Carnarvon, developed a fever and cough while in a Cairo hospital. When he died on April 5th, the lights in the city went out. At his home in Hampshire, England, his dog Susie died a few hours after his death. The New York Times reported that his death was caused by pneumonia, a disease he contracted from a bug bite that became infected from a razor cut. But because he had been present at the excavation of King Tutankhamun's tomb several months earlier, rumors about the curse began to spread. The obituary in the newspaper for the Earl of Carnarvon mentioned that even before he became ill, there were talks of ancient Egyptian curses, with mysterious spells aimed at anyone daring to disturb the sleep of a pharaoh. The day after the death of the Earl of Carnarvon, the New York Times quoted spiritualist and author of the Sherlock Holmes detective stories, Arthur Conan Doyle, as saying, "An evil spirit may have caused the Earl of Carnarvon's deadly illness." Around the same time, Ernest A. Wallace Budge at the British Museum told the New York Times that the theories about the curse were nonsense. However, discussions about the curse continued when financier George J. Gould died in May 1923 from pneumonia, a few months after visiting King Tutankhamun's tomb. Philip Livingston Poe, a relative of writer Edgar Allan Poe, also developed pneumonia several months after visiting the tomb in 1923. His illness was included in a study and was linked to the mummy's curse, although he lived another 47 years. When Richard Bethel, Howard Carter's secretary, died in 1929, many reports claimed that his death was the 9th, 10th, or 13th related to the excavation. In total, the number of deaths attributed to the curse ranged from 9 to over 20, depending on whether visitors to the tomb and relatives of the excavators were included. Many of these deaths were attributed to accidents, shootings, house fires, and suicides. Some individuals had never visited the tomb and were only relatives of those who had. Despite the media focus on the mummy's curse, Western newspapers rarely reported on the deaths of Egyptians involved in the excavation. One of the few Egyptians mentioned in the Western press was Ali Kamel Fahmy Bey, who had visited King Tutankhamun's tomb. In 1923, he was shot and killed by his wife at the Savoy Hotel in London. In fact, dozens of Egyptians contributed to the excavation of King Tutankhamun's tomb. Since Carter never named most of these individuals in his records, and they were rarely mentioned in the press, it's difficult to know how the excavation affected their health. Many decades later, some scientists wondered if something lethal was lurking in King Tutankhamun's tomb. Could it have been some sort of fungus? In response to this question, 2 doctors published an article in The Lancet in 2003, suggesting that a common mold called Aspergillus might have caused the Earl of Carnarvon's illness. Aspergillosis can cause coughing and difficulty breathing, but the symptoms are more severe for those with weakened immune systems. The Earl of Carnarvon began visiting Egypt after a serious car accident in 1903 that damaged his lungs, making him particularly susceptible to mold infection. In a 2013 study, researchers at Harvard University examined brown spots found on the walls of King Tutankhamun's tomb. These spots appeared when Carter first opened the tomb. Microbiologists wanted to determine if mold or other bacteria caused these spots and posed a health risk to those entering the tomb. While the analysis found evidence of fungal and bacterial communities, they were no longer active and posed no threat to humans or the paintings. It remains unclear whether Aspergillus or any other mold contributed to the deaths of the Earl of Carnarvon or financier Gould. However, today archaeologists wear gloves, face masks, and sometimes disposable protective suits to shield themselves from mold. Perhaps the simplest explanation for the mummy's curse comes from Frank McClanahan, a doctor who treated the Earl of Carnarvon while he was ill in Luxor. According to McClanahan, those who died were a small fraction of the many people who visited the tomb. In a 1972 interview, he said, "Archaeologists are always coming here from all over the world. If you track a group of people and check back later, you'll find a certain mortality rate among them." The discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb unveiled the mysteries of ancient Egyptian civilizations that had never been known to humanity before. It is considered the greatest achievement in 20th century archaeology. Tutankhamun was the 18th dynasty pharaoh, ascending to the throne in 1332 BC at just 9 years old. He remains the youngest king in the history of ancient Egypt. His reign is regarded as the most glorious period in all of Egypt's pharaonic dynasties. However, in 1322 BC, when he was just 19 years old, King Tutankhamun mysteriously passed away. Over the millennia, while nearly all other royal Egyptian tombs had been looted, the tomb of King Tutankhamun remained untouched. This attracted much scientific interest. When Carter's excavation team discovered the steps leading to King Tutankhamun's tomb, it was the most intact tomb ever found in the Valley of the Kings. As they began excavating, the team uncovered a treasure beyond imagination: solid gold items, precious stones, and jeweled artifacts inside the vividly colored coffin that held King Tutankhamun's body. His body was mummified inside an intricately decorated sarcophagus, with a golden mask adorned with precious jewels placed over his face. The number of priceless artifacts found in his tomb was so vast that it overwhelmed the archaeologists. Over 5,000 ancient crafts, along with countless pieces of jewelry, statues, charms, furnishings, and even a solid gold coffin were found. These discoveries stunned the world and provided researchers with invaluable insights into ancient Egyptian history. Archaeologists spent 10 years simply cataloging and naming the items found in King Tutankhamun's tomb. It wasn't until Carter published his research on the existence of King Tutankhamun's tomb that the archaeological community finally believed the Tutankhamun treasure was real, not just a legend. After Carter's publication, it was revealed that King Tutankhamun stood about 5 feet 3 inches tall. Like his ancestors, he was trained to become a warrior. His tomb contained 6 chariots, 50 bows, 2 swords, 8 shields, 2 daggers, and various slingshots. Images on wooden chests in his tomb depict him riding a horse, aiming a bow at an enemy city, while his chariot wheels crush invading Nubian soldiers. After years of research, on November 3, 2013, the mystery of King Tutankhamun's death was solved after over 3,000 years. British scientists created a detailed 3D image of King Tutankhamun's mummified body and found evidence that a chariot wheel had passed over his body. Once the injuries were fully restored, researchers concluded that the left side of the pharaoh's body had been crushed by a chariot wheel, causing fatal injuries. Since the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb with its almost intact artifacts, the Valley of the Kings has become famous. It was designated a World Heritage Site in 1979, and to this day, exploration, excavation, and preservation activities continue. During this process, archaeologists, explorers, and experts have found many other mysterious and valuable items. So, besides the artifacts mentioned above, what else was found in King Tutankhamun's tomb? Let's continue exploring right now. Death Mask. The death mask is perhaps the most famous artifact found in King Tutankhamun's tomb. This mask measures 21 inches in length and weighs 22 pounds. It is crafted entirely from gold, adorned with precious stones and colored glass inlays, creating an impressive piece with intricate details. According to Galal Ali Hassan, an honorary professor at the Mechanical Engineering Department of Cairo University, this mask exhibits an extraordinary beauty, showcasing the craftsmanship of ancient Egyptian artisans. In his 2016 article published in the International Journal of Advances in Engineering and Technology, Hassan detailed the components of the mask, including eyes made from obsidian, a type of glossy black volcanic rock, and quartz, both valuable materials with significant symbolic meanings in Egyptian culture. Notably, the mask vividly portrays King Tutankhamun with a long beard and a crown shaped like a cobra and a vulture, two animals that symbolize power and protection in ancient Egyptian culture. These images not only represent the king's position of authority, but also serve as signs of protection and eternal life in the spiritual realm, where life and death have no clear boundaries. In addition to its artistic beauty, the death mask also carries profound spiritual elements. The back of the mask features a spell from the Book of the Dead, an important text in ancient Egyptian religious belief. This spell, written in hieroglyphs, emphasizes the mask's role as a medium to connect the earthly realm with the afterlife. According to Marianne Eaton Krauss, a leading expert at the American Research Center in Egypt, in her book Tutankhamun, The Unknowns, this spell also appears on the third coffin of King Tutankhamun, indicating that the mask was not only a tool for physical protection, but also a crucial element in guiding the king's soul into the afterlife. From the fine details of the mask to the spiritual elements embodied in the spells, it is clear that this mask is not just an ornamental object. It is a vivid testament to the blend of art, religion, and belief in life after death in ancient Egyptian culture. Every line and material used carries deep messages, creating an invaluable cultural legacy for humanity, particularly as it opens doors for us to explore the mysterious world of the young King Tutankhamun. Iron Dagger. King Tutankhamun's tomb was not only home to priceless artifacts, but also an intriguing treasure trove, offering many exciting discoveries about ancient Egyptian civilization. One of the most notable artifacts found in the tomb of this famous pharaoh is a pair of daggers, each carrying its own mysterious story. One dagger is made of pure gold, while the other is crafted from iron, creating a perfect contrast between the two precious materials. According to the book Iron from Tutankhamun's Tomb, Cairo University Press, 2022, both daggers were wrapped in several layers of mummification bandages and carefully placed beside the young king. The iron dagger, one of the most impressive finds, was located on the right thigh of Tutankhamun. What is particularly remarkable about this iron is that it is not ordinary iron, but rather metal from a meteorite, a priceless gift from the universe. This dagger is not just a weapon, but also a work of art, with a blade made from iron and a handle of gold, intricately carved with patterns that reflect the perfect blend of creativity and technology of ancient Egyptian craftsmanship. In addition, the second dagger, made entirely of gold, is equally impressive. The hilt is crafted from pure gold with meticulous detailing and was found at the upper abdomen of Tutankhamun. While the appearance of this dagger is dazzling, like the iron dagger, researchers believe both daggers show signs of light wear, indicating they may have been used for activities such as hunting or special rituals. Katja Broschat, a conservator at the Römisch Germanisches Zentralmuseum and co-author of the book Iron from Tutankhamun's Tomb, pointed out that, although the signs of wear on both daggers suggest they may have been used, it is difficult to determine their exact purpose. Game table. When exploring the tomb of King Tutankhamun, archaeologists discovered not only magnificent treasures and important historical relics, but also a glimpse into the entertainment life of this young pharaoh. One of the most interesting and unique finds was a game table, an item that seems to have provided King Tutankhamun with moments of relaxation after the responsibilities of leadership. According to the book The Ancient Egyptians at Play, Board Games Across Borders, Bloomsbury, 2016, this table contained at least 4 different games, highlighting the popularity and widespread enjoyment of games in ancient Egyptian society. Several game pieces found in the tomb were intricately crafted from ivory, further increasing the value of this discovery. These game boards appeared to be specifically designed for games using 20 pieces, suggesting a more complex and larger scale than the simple games often imagined in ancient history. Archaeologists also noted that the objective of these games was to maneuver pieces into safe positions while preventing the opponent from doing the same, requiring focus, calculation, and strategy. However, despite the clarity of the game pieces found, the exact rules of these games remain a mystery. Experts at the Grand Egyptian Museum have reported that one of the games used a board with 30 squares, a design that shows similarities to modern strategy games. However, the specific method of play and detailed rules remain unclear, which makes these games even more fascinating and mysterious to researchers today. The discovery of the game table in Tutankhamun's tomb not only indicates that games were an integral part of daily life in ancient Egypt, but also provides insight into the cultural development and entertainment habits of the society at that time. Fashion dummy. One of the lesser-known but incredibly unique treasures from King Tutankhamun's tomb is a special fashion dummy used to help select, adjust, and store the king's wardrobe and jewelry. This discovery further emphasizes the lifestyle of Tutankhamun, a pharaoh who not only stood out for his power, but also for his attention to appearance and fashion. According to Laura Ranieri Roy, the founder and director of the educational organization Ancient Egypt Alive, King Tutankhamun was very fashion-conscious and loved style, possessing a wardrobe like no other. Ranieri Roy says, "Tut was a very fashionable person with a massive wardrobe for both his life and the afterlife. The king's wardrobe was not just a collection of ordinary garments, but an invaluable collection of hundreds of exquisite outfits, ranging from luxurious cloaks, dozens of pairs of sandals, to undergarments, socks, and even clothing for the young king. These garments not only reflect the wealth and power of the pharaoh, but also show that he placed great importance on creating a perfect image, both in this world and the next." The fashion dummy found in the tomb was not only valuable as a decorative item, but also played a key role in preserving and displaying these precious garments. It may have been used to hang and showcase cloaks and intricately decorated jewelry, keeping them in pristine condition. This dummy could even have been used by King Tut's attendants to assist him in adjusting and preparing his clothing, tailoring the elaborate garments he would wear during important ceremonies, or even in the afterlife. King Tut's throne. Among the priceless treasures discovered in the tomb of King Tutankhamun, his golden throne is undoubtedly one of the most prominent artifacts, not only due to its exquisite craftsmanship, but also for the powerful symbols it embodies. The throne is primarily made of wood, covered with gold and silver, and decorated with semi-precious stones, enamel, and colored glass, creating a magnificent piece of art full of meticulous details. This throne was not just an ordinary piece of furniture, but a powerful symbol of the king's authority and eternity. Notably, the throne features an image of the sun disk Aten shining down on Tutankhamun and his wife, Queen Ankhesenamun, symbolizing divine protection and shelter. Eaton Krause, an expert in Egyptology, mentioned that two thrones were found in Tutankhamun's tomb. One was made of ebony wood and is referred to as the throne of the clergy due to its resemblance to a bishop's chair, although there is no evidence suggesting it served any specific religious purpose. This throne was primarily a symbol of secular power, not linked to any particular religion or ceremony. The second throne, sometimes called the throne of the royal couple, depicts Tutankhamun and his wife in an intimate moment. In her book, Egyptologist Tildesley notes that in one scene on the throne, Queen Ankhesenamun appears to be applying ointment or perfume to King Tutankhamun, reflecting the care and affection between them. This emotional image offers a clear insight into their relationship and royal life in ancient Egypt. The throne stands about 3.3 feet tall and is covered in linen, with a unique design featuring a sturdy, slightly sloped backrest, armrests, and side panels. Notably, the four legs of the throne are carved in the shape of lion's paws, symbolizing the strength and power of the pharaoh. The entire throne is gilded in gold and silver and inlaid with gemstones, colored glass, and glazed pottery, creating a dazzling and luxurious appearance that was essential for a king like Tutankhamun. As Tildesley wrote in her book, for the ancient Egyptians, a throne was not just a luxurious piece of furniture representing wealth, but also a powerful symbol of authority. Every detail of King Tutankhamun's throne reflects sophistication and a focus on the pharaoh's power and majesty. It was not just a place where the king sat, but also a symbol of the image and mystique of ruling power in ancient Egypt, making this throne one of the invaluable relics of a great historical era. The Golden Chariot. Another remarkable discovery in King Tutankhamun's tomb is the stunning Golden Chariot, which is now on display at the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza, awaiting restoration to return to its original splendor. In 2019, images of this chariot made headlines, capturing the attention of researchers and the public alike. With its intricate details and grandeur, this chariot was not merely a mode of transportation, but also a work of art reflecting the power and magnificence of King Tutankhamun throughout his reign. According to a study published in 2020 in the Comité International pour l'Égyptologie, International Committee for Egyptology journal, this chariot is one of the state chariots, which Carter and his research team described as one of the most complex chariots ever found in a tomb. The researchers restored one of these chariots and discovered that it had a canopy overhead, which could provide shade for the rider during journeys in the scorching desert sun. This not only demonstrates the skillful design, but also reflects the king's attention to comfort and convenience. Additionally, the golden chariot features distinctive images laden with symbols of power and divine worship. One of the most notable details is the depiction of 6 foreign prisoners engraved on the right side of the chariot, representing King Tutankhamun's victories and power over lands outside Egypt. Additionally, hieroglyphs inscribed on the chariot bear the names of Tutankhamun and Queen Ankhesenamun, affirming their close bond in maintaining power. One unforgettable detail is the image of a hawk with its wings spread wide, symbolizing Horus, Egypt's powerful sun god. The hieroglyphs alongside describe the hawk as a symbol of protection, not only for the king, but also for the queen and the entire royal dynasty. The research team wrote in their article that the design of the entire chariot could be interpreted as representing the royal couple, revered by the people of Egypt, protected by the sun god Horus, ensuring a stable and peaceful life for them under the divine protection of the gods. King Tutankhamun's golden chariot was not only a luxurious vehicle, but also a rich work of art full of symbolism, reflecting the prosperity, power, and divine worship of the ancient Egyptians. Every detail of the chariot conveys messages about protection, power, and the immortality of the pharaoh, while emphasizing the profound relationship between the king and the divine, particularly the sun god Horus, who soars across the sky, offering protection to the Egyptian monarchy. As you can see, the tomb of King Tutankhamun is not just a treasure trove of historical value, but also a window into an important part of ancient Egyptian civilization. Each artifact, from the famous golden mask to items related to fashion and warfare, reflects the sophistication and the flourishing culture of this period. The mystery and legendary tales surrounding the curse of the mummy continue to capture the world's attention, making the tomb of Tutankhamun one of the most astonishing and mysterious archaeological legacies of all time. Thank you for watching today's video. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below if you found this video interesting. For now, goodbye and see you next time.